Chapter 1444. Dao Lord Ning. Almost at the same time, Bai Ling and Jia Xinshui called out and stood up at the same time. At this time, Wuxia Yoshin also recognized who it was, and his face suddenly lit up. Even those who had never seen Ning Cheng knew Mu Zuoxiao, who was next to Ning Cheng. When the demonic creatures under the Great Change Scorched Tree Temple broke out, Ning Cheng was the one who sealed them. How could they not be happy that Ning Cheng came here again? Moreover, the Great Change Realm had long been sealed, but Ning Cheng could still appear in this place, indicating that he could easily break the seal. Coupled with Ning Cheng's legend in the beyond of heaven and earth, there was nothing more surprising than Ning Cheng's appearance there for them, who had no way out. Yes, it's me. I was delayed because of some things. I'm responsible for this disaster in the Great Change Realm. Ning Cheng said with cupped fists. He did think it was his responsibility. He should not have gone to the perpetual moon abyss first, but sealed the demonic creatures in the Great Change Realm first. Bai Ling greets Dao Lord Ning. Everyone greeted Ning Cheng. Everyone, sit down and talk slowly. Ning Cheng knew that the Great Change Realm demonic creatures outbreak was definitely not that simple. Even with his realm, his spiritual consciousness could not penetrate the Scorched Tree Temple. How could it be simple? At least, he had to investigate the matter clearly before he could make a decision. After everyone sat down excitedly, Bai Ling was the first to speak. In fact, even if Dao Lord came at that time, I'm afraid he could not stop this. Ning Cheng asked doubtfully, why? If he came, even if he could not destroy the underground demonic creatures, he could at least reinforce the seal so that the underground demonic creatures would not break out for a while. Because I suspect that someone brought an expert here and then deliberately opened the seal to release the demonic creatures. That person also helped the underground demonic creatures kill several experts in the Great Change Realm, including Dao Lord Liao Qianluo who had just come to help. Bai Ling's words were shocking. Ning Cheng's heart sank. As he had guessed, someone had helped them. If that was the case, he could only stay in the Great Change Realm. Otherwise, even if he reinforced the seal of the underground demonic creatures, the underground demonic creatures would still wreak havoc when he left and that person came to unlock the seal. Then why are you trapped here? Is it because of the intention of the underground demonic beings, to use you as a trial by fire? Ning Cheng frowned and asked. Bai Ling shook his head and said, that's not it. Back then, when we were facing the endless number of underground devils, we had the help of a peerless powerhouse. He didn't know what was going on, but the expert who helped him suddenly had something to do and left. After that expert left, we were in a stalemate with the underground monsters until today. Then who set up the seal outside the Great Change Realm? Everyone shook their heads in silence. No one knew. They had been sealed in the Great Change Realm and had been fighting with the underground monsters. How could they know who had sealed the Great Change Realm? Ning Cheng couldn't help but wonder who had such great strength and continued to ask, what about Gu Ruoxi, Yin Xingwen, and the other Dao friends? Grief appeared in Bai Ling's eyes. And she died in battle. Realm Lord Yin also died in battle. Ning Cheng felt sad. Although Yin Xingwen was selfish, as the Great Change Realm's Realm Lord, he still showed the demeanor of a Realm Lord when the Great Change Realm was about to perish. No, Bai Ling said that the expert was brought in by someone. Who was it? Dao Lord Bai Ling, you just said that the expert who came to help the devils was brought in by someone. Do you know who brought him? Ning Cheng asked immediately. Bai Ling said with hatred, if I'm not wrong, it was that bitch Zhu Yinghua. That person is simply insane. She has long forgotten that the Great Change Realm is the place she raised and brought a wolf into her house. Zhu Yinghua. Ning Cheng suddenly thought of Mo Zhou. According to Yu Xiangbing, Mo Zhou was Moge's uncle. After Zhu Yinghua escaped from the Great Change Realm, she took Third Hall Master Sherman to seek refuge with Mo Zhou. As a result, Zhu Yinghua not only got involved with Mo Zhou but also pushed Sherman to Mo Zhou. As a result, Sherman committed suicide. Yu Xiangbing, with hatred, used sneak attacks to severely injure Mo Zhou in the fight in Heavens Beyond. From Yu Xiangbing's words, Ning Qing knew that Zhu Yinghua was an extremely cold and shrewd woman. Ning Qing didn't know if this woman was Aimo Go or not. However, Ning Qing knew that this woman was the kind of person who would seek revenge for the smallest grievance. She came here not only to avenge Mo Go but also to find someone to trigger the Great Change Realm demonic creatures and lure him out. According to Zhu Yinghua's vicious methods, the Great Change Realm was just her first stop. Next, she should have gone to kill Tai Su and then destroy the geniuses in Heavens Beyond. Only with these means could she attract Ning Cheng's attention. But in fact, she left before finishing her business in the Great Change Realm. As for why she didn't go to the Great Essence Realm, it wasn't because of Zhu Yinghua's good intentions, but because something suddenly happened while they were destroying the Great Change Realm. The only way to get rid of this trouble was to find Zhu Yinghua and kill her. Let's go and destroy the underground demonic creatures first. Ning Qing stood up. Whether he guessed correctly or not, the first thing he needed to do now was to destroy the demonic creatures in the Great Change Realm. Once the Great Change Realm recovered, he would immediately return to Tai Su. Not everyone knew about Ning Cheng's strength. Some people who didn't know about Ning Cheng's strength felt surprised when they heard that Ning Cheng wanted to destroy the underground demonic creatures without even discussing a solution. Ning Cheng might be powerful, but now was not the time to seal the demonic creatures. Now that the Great Change Realm demonic creatures were everywhere, how could they destroy them? Bai Ling, Jia Xinshui, and the others all stood up. They knew Ning Cheng better than others. Since Ning Cheng could come here and say such words, it meant that Ning Cheng had the means to solve it. Wait. Ning Cheng took a few steps and suddenly stopped. He suddenly thought that Zhu Yinghua wanted to deal with him. Did she investigate Shi Qionghua's matter and deliberately deal with Qionghu? Dao Lord Bai Ling, do you know Shi Qianqi? I know. She's an expert from the Grand Essence 9 Revolution's sacred Dao Pond. She stayed in the Great Change Realm for a while, but she left the Great Change Realm before the demonic creatures broke out. Bai Ling replied. Ning Qing felt relieved. Since Shi Qianqi had left the Great Change Realm, it meant that Qionghu had also left the Great Change Realm. Maybe they had already returned to the Great Essence Realm. After coming out of the Nirvana nest, Jia Xinshui and the others realized how powerful Ning Qing was. Although they said that they would follow Ning Qing to destroy the demonic creatures, Ning Qing had already brought out the first bridge of coping after leaving the Nirvana nest. They had seen Ning Qing use the first bridge of coping before. No matter how powerful it was just a bridge. But at this time, the first bridge of coping had transformed into a stone arch bridge spanning the entire Great Change Realm. As soon as the first bridge of coping came out, endless demonic creatures were swept up by the bridge of coping and sent into the tumbling blood river under the bridge. With the power of the bridge of coping, even if Ning Qing didn't bring out the other bridges, he could solve all the demonic creatures in the Great Change Realm with just the first bridge of coping. But Ning Qing didn't stop there. The second bridge of Looking Home, the third bridge of Forgetting River, the fourth bridge of Yellow Springs, and the fifth bridge of Reincarnation all came out of Ning Cheng's hands. Dao Charm surged over the 5 bridges, and the 5 bridges swept away the endless demonic creatures in the Great Change Realm. Even the Dao Charm aura and embryonic law forms filled with demonic creatures in the Great Change Realm were torn apart and swept away by the 5 bridges. The spirit chi between heaven and earth restored to its original state at the fastest speed, and everyone could see the Great Change Realm's surging demonic creatures turning clear again. The sky returned to its original state, and the earth remained the same as before. So strong. Zhuo Yi looked at the great change space purified by Ning Cheng's 5 bridges in shock, and the laws of heaven and earth restored to their original state. He couldn't believe what he saw. As the #1 genius rogue cultivator in the Great Change Realm after the demonic creatures broke out, his strength had surpassed Jia Xinshui and Bai Ling. This naturally made him more confident. Although he felt that Ning Cheng was stronger than him, he believed that he could surpass Ning Cheng one day. After seeing Ning Cheng's means today, he knew that he could never surpass Ning Cheng in this life. It was really strong. Not only Zhui Yi, but all the surviving cultivators in the Great Change Realm were shocked by Ning Cheng's means. However, they soon understood that the demonic creatures had been destroyed, and the Great Change Realm would return to its original state. The Great Change Realm was going to be reborn after this round of looting. None of the survivors were weak. Mu Zuoxiao sucked in a breath of cold air. He knew that the Five Realms Void City was not Ning Cheng's real means. Perhaps even the 5 bridges to restore the Great Change Heaven-Earth Law was not Ning Cheng's strongest means. How strong was Ning Cheng? It was ridiculous that he had worried about Ning Cheng's arrival before. Only now did he know that his decision to come with Ning Cheng was the right one. Not only would his Dao marks recover, but he would also see the means of a real expert. At this moment, Mu Zuoxiao's cultivation level loosened rapidly. He had a hunch that he would soon reach the mid-stage Dao integration realm. Union Master Mu, Dao Lord Bai Ling, Dao Lord Jia, you guys take the lead here. Leave the underground demonic creatures of the Great Change Realm to me. I'll go and destroy them. You guys will rebuild the order of the Great Change Realm, Ning Cheng said as he turned around after bringing out the 5 bridges. At this moment, even an idiot would know that Ning Cheng's strength far surpassed the Dao integration realm. Given Ning Cheng's power, it would be a piece of cake for him to destroy the demonic creatures of the Great Change Realm. Dao Lord Ning, please rest assured. We will definitely rebuild the order of the Great Change Realm with the Great Simplicity Realm as the standard, Jia Xinshui said immediately. Given Ning Cheng's strength, he obviously disdained to be the realm master of the Great Change Realm. After the establishment of the Great Simplicity Dao Court, the Great Simplicity Realm had a complete set of realm order. Everything had to be based on the laws of the Great Simplicity Dao Court. It was no longer a place for experts to speak. Now that the Great Change Realm was being rebuilt, it would be easier to implement this method than the Great Simplicity Realm. Ning Cheng's heart skipped a beat. He had no intention of interfering with the reconstruction of the Great Change Dao Court. Jia Xinshui's words were in line with his intentions. Cultivation was important, but the law of the jungle and the strong were respected. Order was more important to most weak cultivators. The Great Change Realm was almost destroyed, so it was indeed better to rebuild it now. For the Great Change Realm, this was nirvana. Chapter 1445. Dao Lord Ning, I'll go with you. Zhui Yi quickly stepped forward and said. He felt a vast aura of the great Dao from Ning Cheng. It might take him a lifetime to comprehend a thing or two. He felt that even if he followed Ning Cheng for the time it took for an incense stick to burn, he would benefit from it for the rest of his life. He didn't have much interest in establishing a Dao court and developing his forces. His greatest pursuit was to reach the 3rd step. Okay. Ning Cheng agreed to Zhui Ye's request. He also understood Zhui Ye's thoughts. As a rising star in the Great Change Realm, Zhui Ye's strength had already surpassed Bai Ling and Jia Xinshui. In the future, Zhui Yi was likely to become the #1 expert in the Great Change Realm. Ning Cheng had brought out the 5 bridges to sweep through the demonic creatures in the Great Change Realm. Several demonic creatures in the abyss under the Scorched Tree Temple had already received the news. When Ning Cheng landed outside the Scorched Tree Temple, he saw 2 huge demonic creatures standing next to the huge defense array outside the temple. These 2 demons are 2 of the 10 abyss demons, Zhui Yi said from beside Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng nodded. He knew one of the demonic creatures holding a giant black hammer. He had once shot it away. Back then, this demonic creature could still fight against him. But now, in Ning Cheng's eyes, this demonic creature had become a real ant. The so-called 10 Abyss Demon strength was barely equivalent to the Tao integration realm. If someone hadn't come to help, even if the Abyss Demons broke out, it would not have taken tens of thousands of years to completely occupy the Great Change realm. It's you again. The demonic creature holding the giant black hammer apparently recognized Ning Cheng and said in surprise. Who helped you open the seal? Ning Cheng took a step forward as if he was taking a stroll. The two demonic creatures immediately felt the law aura of heaven and earth binding them. The next moment, they couldn't even move. Zhui Yi secretly clenched his fists as he watched from the side. What was a mighty figure? This was it. If either of these two demonic creatures fought with him, it would not be easy for him to win. But Ning Cheng took a casual step and didn't even move a finger, yet he completely suppressed the two great demons. The gap between him and Ning Cheng might not even be able to describe the gap between him and Ning Cheng. The two demonic creatures also felt Ning Cheng's law suppression, and one of them screamed, "Retreat into the defense array, retreat into the defense array." Ning Cheng raised his hand and threw out a few array flags. At the same time, he brought out the good fortune divine spear and shot it towards the defensive array around the entrance. It was just a defensive array. Not only did it block his spiritual sense, it even wanted to stop his footsteps. Even if Qin Mutian was here, he wouldn't be able to do so. Gotcha. The sound of the defensive array shattering emerged. The entrance to the demonic beings, which was originally covered by the grand array, could not block Ning Cheng's spear and directly shattered. The great formation shattered, and Zhui Yi saw countless underground monsters. At the same time, because Ning Cheng broke the grand array, the Tao charm of the 5 bridges swept over. The demonic creatures turned into a thick black torrent and were swept away by the Tao charm of the 5 bridges. The two demonic creatures bound by Ning Cheng obviously knew that the disparity between them and Ning Cheng was just too big, to the point that they could not resist. When the thick black torrent was formed, the two giant devils also collapsed and turned into devil chi laws. Ning Cheng shook his head and did not stop them. He guessed that these demonic creatures did not know who Zhu Yinghua had brought with her. As for these demonic creatures turning into devil chi laws and being swept away by his 7 bridges, they could forget about making a comeback like before. After entering his 7 bridges, they would turn into a trace of the Tao charm of his 7 bridges and would never have a chance to make a comeback. The demonic creatures in the underground abyss were swept away by Ning Cheng's 7 bridges, and the devil chi in the Great Change realm completely dissipated. Ning Cheng raised his hand, and the 5 bridges across the Great Change realm disappeared. Zhui Yi couldn't help but sigh. Countless powerhouses had fallen in the Grand Change realm, and the demonic creatures that had almost destroyed the Grand Change realm, but in Ning Cheng's hands, they were like eggshells, easily crushed. Ning Cheng didn't feel happy at all. He looked at the empty underground abyss of demonic creatures and didn't even think about going in to investigate. He could destroy these demonic creatures at any time. He was worried about Zhu Yinghua and who the powerhouse she had brought with her was. Zhui Yi, do you know why that powerhouse suddenly gave up on destroying all the human cultivators in the Great Change realm and chose to leave? Ning Cheng suddenly asked after a long time. Ning Cheng also knew that Zhui Yi shouldn't know about it, but he couldn't help but ask. After all, he wasn't here at the time. Zhui Yi bowed and replied, Tao Lord Ning, I was going to tell you about it. I was killing demonic creatures at the time and was even ready to fall. Suddenly, I heard a violent roar, which shook the heaven and earth laws of the Great Change realm. After that roar, I suddenly felt that the attacks of the demonic creatures around me seemed to have weakened a lot. I was able to break out of the encirclement and reunite with everyone. A violent roar. Ning Cheng looked at Zhui Yi in doubt. Zhui Yi nodded affirmatively, yes, and that roar didn't come from the Great Change realm. It must have come from the void outside the Great Change realm. Ning Cheng suddenly felt moved. The Great Change realm had complete heaven and earth laws and a boundary protecting Grand Array. The roar outside the void not only transmitted to the Great Change Realm but also caused the laws of the Great Change Realm to tremble. What kind of terrifying sound was this? No matter what the sound was, Ning Qing guessed that the experts who came with Zhu Yinghua had suddenly left because of this roar. Do you know the specific location? Ning Qing asked anxiously. Zhu Yi pondered for a while before taking out a jade strip and carving a few things. He handed it to Ning Qing and said, "I should have heard this location at the time, but the sound in the void was changing, so I couldn't be sure. Moreover, I had an illusion, as if I felt the aura of heaven and earth when the universe first separated." "I got it, Zhu Yi. I'll be leaving now. See you later." While speaking, Ning Cheng's figure flashed and disappeared. Outside Jiaoyang Mountain, Ning Qing returned. Not only did Zhu Ye's carving point to this location, but Zhu Ye's words also made Ning Qing suspect that it had something to do with the Chaos Realm. However, Ning Qing couldn't believe that the Chaos Realm had exploded. How could a realm that was formed at the beginning of the universe explode just like that? In order to confirm this matter, Ning Qing specially went to the immortal falling boat Void City to inquire about it. In just half a day, Ning Qing confirmed it. More than 20,000 years ago, there had indeed been a violent explosion hundreds of millions of miles away from Jiaoyang Mountain. At that time, countless people had flocked to find the explosion because after the explosion, a chaotic aura had appeared. However, no one could find the real reason. As time passed, this matter was left unsettled. After half an incense stick's worth of time, Ning Qing arrived at the rumored explosion. This place was indeed a void. His spiritual consciousness penetrated the void, and there was no special situation at all. Ning Qing sat in place, while his spiritual consciousness permeated out in an overwhelming manner. With his current spiritual consciousness, he could even touch the barriers between realms and planes that others couldn't. In just half a day, Ning Qing was sure that a planet had indeed exploded here. It was indeed a chaotic planet. Even after 20,000 years, he could still feel an extremely faint chaotic aura. Half a month later, Ning Qing's spiritual consciousness passed through layer after layer of the void. However, he didn't feel any debris or traces of the planet's explosion. Ning Qing took out the Chaos Jade Talisman and thought to himself, this shouldn't really be the Chaos Realm, right? It was hard to say. Sacred Dao sect Master Yi Mo and Xing Shi were enemies. Now that both of them had gone to the Chaos Realm, it was likely that there would be a big battle. It was just that the Chaos Realm had existed for so many years, and many ancient powerhouses had reached the third step in the Chaos Realm, but none of them had caused the Chaos Realm to explode. Wouldn't those ancient powerhouses have fought in the Chaos Realm? The Chaos Realm was a realm condensed when the universe was created. It contained chaotic aura and all kinds of chaotic laws. Thinking of the creation of the universe, Ning Qing thought of the palm-sized universe origin embryo membrane he had thrown into the mysterious yellow bead. Although it was the embryo membrane fragment of the light and darkness universe's origin, since it was the origin of the universe, there should be something similar. Ning Qing raised his hand and grabbed the embryo membrane. Immediately, Ning Qing sensed some fluctuations in the Tao runes and laws on the embryo membrane. At this moment, Ning Qing's attention was completely focused on the embryo membrane fragment. Soon, he sensed the direction of the embryo membrane fluctuation from the embryo membrane. Ning Qing didn't hesitate to tear open the realm and chase after it. If that powerhouse had really come here, then Zhu Yinghua would definitely come here. Chapter 1446. Ning Qing tore open one void realm after another. Even with Ning Qing's speed, it took him a full 7 days to stop. In front of him was still a vast and endless void. There were no traces of people or spiritual qi here, only the chaotic laws and auras of the void. Ning Qing raised his hand and grabbed a fragment the size of a baby's fingernail. The reason he could come here was because of this small fragment. That's right, this fragment had the same aura as the universe origin embryo membrane in his hand. Obviously, this fingernail-sized thing was also the universe origin embryo membrane. It was also because of this embryo membrane that he came here. Who was this? How could they leave such a precious thing here? Ning Qing didn't think that this thing had been here since the beginning of the universe. If that were the case, someone would have taken it away a long time ago. The embryo membrane in his hand came from the light and dark universe. If this was also the universe origin embryo membrane of the light and dark universe, then wouldn't the person who came here be? Thinking of this, Brother Ning's heart sank. Although he didn't fear anyone, he had to admit that he wasn't Qin Mutian's opponent right now. If Zhu Yinghua's opponent was really the light and dark universe's sacred master Qin Mutian, what should he do? Ning Qing quickly calmed down. Even if he couldn't beat Qin Mutian, he could still leave. No matter how powerful Qin Mutian was, he couldn't crush him. At this moment, his consciousness was searching the void even more meticulously. He sensed the broken primal aura again, and Ning Qing quickly took out the Chaos Jade Talisman. Sure enough, after taking out the Chaos Jade Talisman, the Dao Charm aura on the Jade Talisman began to tremble. Was this the entrance to the Chaos Realm? Ning Qing quickly understood that this was indeed the entrance to the Chaos Realm. Before he could crush the Jade Talisman exploded. A faintly discernible boundary appeared in front of Ning Qing. Ning Qing didn't have time to think about it, and the Good Fortune Divine Spear slammed down, causing cracks to appear on the boundary. Ning Qing's figure flashed, and he immediately appeared in a vast void that he had never been to before. This void was filled with all kinds of heaven and earth laws. There was a faint primal aura of the universe's creation, as well as a chaotic void aura. In just a moment, Ning Qing confirmed that the Chaos Realm had indeed exploded. The true Chaos Realm definitely wouldn't have such a chaotic aura. It was precisely because the Chaos Realm had exploded that all sorts of laws and auras were mixed together with the void, resulting in such a chaotic aura. Ning Qing also understood why it was so difficult for him to find the Chaos Realm. The Chaos Realm turned out to be similar to the light and dark universe, which existed in a separate and vast void. If it had not been for the light and darkness universe origin membrane in his hand, he might not have been able to find this place even if he had reached the third step. The reason Yi Mo and Xing Shi could find the Chaos Realm was probably by chance. Ning Qing threw away the broken Chaos Jade Talisman in his hand and sighed in his heart. If the Chaos Realm did not explode, the Chaos Jade Talisman could bring him into the Chaos Realm without shattering. However, the Chaos Realm was an independent realm formed by the creation of a universe. How could it explode? As Ning Qing's spiritual consciousness swept out, he found chaotic auras everywhere. However, he still couldn't find anyone, nor did he find any boundaries. Ning Qing felt even more fearful in his heart. Regardless of whether the person who found this place was Qin Mutian or not, he was much stronger than him. This was because the other party had directly found the void realm of the Chaos Realm and casually came to the Chaos Realm. However, he relied on the universe origin membrane to come here. It was clear who was stronger. Just as Ning Qing was frowning in contemplation, an inexhaustible aura suddenly rushed towards him. There was Chaos Aura, Killing Intent, Heaven and Earth Law Aura. Soon, Ning Qing understood what was going on. This was his Creation Divine Spear absorbing these auras. After the Creation Divine Spear advanced to a high-grade God artifact, the speed at which it absorbed heaven and earth laws slowed down. At this moment, the Creation Divine Spear's level kept rising. Ning Qing felt overjoyed but also a little regretful. He regretted not finding this place before the Chaos Realm exploded. If he had come here before the Chaos Realm exploded, the Creation Divine Spear might have already improved by a level. Ning Qing sensed the direction of the aura and sped up. Sure enough, as Ning Qing sped up, the aura of the Creation Divine Spear grew stronger. Even Ning Qing didn't know how long he had walked. When his Creation Divine Spear trembled, the speed at which it absorbed the Heaven and Earth Law aura came to a halt. Ning Cheng raised his hand and grabbed the creation divine spear. His heart was filled with surprise. The creation divine spear had surpassed the top-grade god artifact and advanced to the level of a postnatal spiritual treasure. Although it was still a far cry from the indestructible axe, it meant that his strength had risen by another step. Moreover, the initial aura from the creation divine spear had also melted away. Ning Cheng estimated that even if Qin Mutian stood in front of him at this moment, he might not be able to see that the creation divine spear was forged from innate mother iron. This spear is good, right? It's rare to find something that can automatically advance to the level of a postnatal spiritual treasure. A faint voice sounded in Ning Cheng's ear. Ning Cheng, who was still immersed in the surprise, retreated in horror. With his strength, he didn't even know who it was when someone appeared in front of him. Standing not far from Ning Cheng was a tall man with a white crown and a pale face. If Ning Cheng hadn't sensed his powerful Dao charm aura, Ning Cheng would have thought that he was a ghost. What impressed Ning Cheng the most was the knife mark on this man's forehead. It ran from his glabella to his chin, almost splitting his head in half. Blood still oozed out of this knife mark, giving it a gloomy and terrifying look. Under the blood, there was a dense Dao charm aura of blade qi. Apparently, this blade qi's Dao charm aura was the root cause of this knife mark that hadn't healed yet. Ning Cheng felt as if he had felt the Dao charm under this knife mark somewhere before, causing Ning Cheng to frown slightly. But Ning Cheng quickly put aside this thought because this man with the tall crown was too strong. Even if the other party didn't move, it still gave Ning Cheng an extreme sense of oppression. As if sensing Ning Cheng's fear, the pale-faced man smiled, "My name is E.G. A long time ago, some people also called me Wanderer E.G. I want to discuss something with you. Give me your spear." Ning Cheng smiled and didn't speak at all. Was this Wanderer E.G. an idiot? He wanted him to give the creation god spear to him. Wanderer E.G. didn't seem to see Ning Cheng's sneering expression and said seriously, "Young man, I can see that your future achievements will be very high. But no matter how high, it's useless to stay in this universe." "What do you mean?" Ning Cheng stopped smiling and asked. It was because he had been to the light and dark universe that he took this sentence so seriously. "Since you can enter the chaos void, you should know about the gate of fortune, right?" Wanderer E.G. asked in a deep voice, ignoring the blood dripping from the wound on his face. Ning Cheng nodded, "That's right, I do know." "Is this the chaos void? Was there a chaos realm here before?" "That's right, the laws of the chaos realm became chaotic due to a couple and the entire realm exploded." There was anger in Wanderer E.G.'s eyes. Ning Cheng immediately thought of Yi Mo and Xing Shi. Could they really destroy the chaos realm because of a fight? If that was the case, it meant that Yi Mo and Xing Shi's power was also skyrocketing. "The sword mark on your face was left by Yi Mo." Ning Cheng immediately realized why he was so familiar with the sword mark on Wanderer E.G.'s forehead. So it was done by Yi Mo. Wanderer E.G. frowned but soon relaxed. "It seems you know that Yi Mo." "That's right, he did it. He snatched something from me, and when I asked him for it, he attacked me unreasonably." Ning Cheng had already vaguely guessed the origin of this E.G., but he still asked calmly, "Oh, I wonder what that Yi Mo stole from Dao friend?" Wanderer E.G. glanced plainly at Ning Cheng. "It seems you know. I don't want to fight with you. Give me that spear and I promise you a place behind the gate of fortune. You know who I am and what was robbed from me. You should know my power. If I fight, I can annihilate you, but at the same time, my injuries will worsen. If I don't fight, everyone will be happy." Ning Cheng was shocked at Yi Mo's power. He knew that Wanderer E.G. wasn't bragging. Wanderer E.G. was dreaming if he wanted to kill him. But now, he wasn't 100% sure of winning against Wanderer E.G. However, Yi Mo almost split Wanderer E.G. in half with one strike. This was definitely a drastic increase in power. It could be seen that he got some fortune in the light and dark universe. Yemo and Xing Shi also had some fortune here. Who knows what fortune they got that caused the chaos realm to explode? Let me ask you a question. Ning Qing didn't answer Wanderer EG's question and asked back. Wanderer EG didn't mind Ning Cheng's tone at all and nodded calmly. Ask away. I promise that there are less than a handful of people who can let you enter the gate of fortune. I'm one of them. What is the name of the owner of the mysterious yellow bead? Is he also hiding here? Ning Cheng did not seem to have heard EG's assurance and still asked calmly. So you're... Wanderer EG stared at Ning Cheng in shock. He finally understood who this young man who had formed his own law and reached the third step was. It turned out that he was the same as Yemo, a chess piece they left behind. But now, he was injured by a chess piece, and the chess piece left behind by that abstruse yellow bead didn't seem to be any weaker than the chess piece he left behind. Ha ha ha. At this moment, Wanderer EG just wanted to laugh crazily. In the past, they were extremely talented and confident. They thought that even if they gave the treasure of fortune to a chess piece, it would be a gift for them. Now, he realized that this was too ridiculous. The universe was vast and boundless, so how could he, Itinerant EG, and a few others be the only ones with great luck? When he gave up the Golden Page world, it was equivalent to giving up everything. Ning Qing didn't speak. After Wanderer EG finished laughing, he said calmly, "You said something wrong. There are definitely more than a handful of people who can fight to enter the gate of fortune." Chapter 1447. Ning Cheng's words suddenly paused, and his gaze fell on the distance. Another powerhouse had arrived. Sure enough, there were too many powerhouses in the void of the Chaos Realm. Ning Cheng hadn't noticed EG before because he was overwhelmed by the joy of the good fortune Divine Spear's advancement. But now that he and Itinerant EG were in a confrontation, he immediately noticed someone approaching. EG and Ning Cheng both looked in the same direction. The newcomer quickly appeared in front of Ning Cheng and Itinerant EG. Ning Cheng looked at his feet in amazement and saw 2 planets under each of his feet. Although the planets seemed to be only a few feet in diameter, Ning Cheng could feel the aura of laws coming from them. Each of these 2 planets was countless times larger than Earth. This was another peerless powerhouse. However, this person's Dao charm looked a bit messy. It seemed that he had just experienced a great battle and was at a disadvantage. Looking at this person's long hair fluttering in the wind and the demeanor of a powerhouse, Ning Cheng understood that this person was most likely an ancient powerhouse. From the looks of it, there were many powerhouses hiding in the void of the Chaos Realm. These fellows were hiding here for one thing, to cultivate while waiting for the gate of good fortune to open. Dao friend EG, how did you end up like this? The newcomer asked in surprise when he saw Itinerant EG. After asking this question, his gaze fell on Ning Cheng, and then on the good fortune Divine Spear in Ning Cheng's hand. If it weren't for the knife mark on Itinerant EG's forehead, he would have thought that Ning Cheng had done it. Itinerant EG smiled bitterly, "Dao friend Xing Chen, you don't look much better than me." The newcomer was just about to speak when his expression suddenly changed. He raised his hand and grabbed a golden planet and said, "Brother EG, I'm being chased by someone. I'm not this person's opponent. I suspect that this person comes from another universe. Why don't we join forces?" Ha ha ha. A gray figure seemed to have come from another side of the void. As his voice fell, this person had already landed beside the Ning Cheng trio. Ning Cheng frowned slightly. This person was very strong. He should be the strongest powerhouse he had met since his debut. When he first saw this person, he felt as if he was looking at a majestic universe, standing majestically in front of him. In front of such a powerhouse, he didn't even have the qualifications to move. Very good, another ant with decent Dao aura. I can perfect my divine ability. This is indeed a good place. The gray figure glanced at E.G., and the smile on the corners of his mouth widened. After saying that, he ignored E.G. and shifted his gaze to Ning Cheng. He then frowned and stared at Ning Cheng. I didn't come looking for you, yet you dared to come here. Did you let the sacred kappa go? As soon as these words came out, Ning Cheng realized who this grey-robed man was. Qin Mutian, the sacred master of the light and dark cosmos. No wonder he gave off an unreachable aura. He had tried to overestimate Qin Mutian, but he had not expected Qin Mutian's strength to be higher than he had imagined. The only reason he could recognize him was because he had not put the origin of the light and dark universe's fetal membrane into the mysterious yellow bead. The kappa that Qin Mutian spoke of should be treading screen. Ning Cheng's Dao charm surrounded his body, and he understood that this battle was inevitable. E.G. also laughed. With a wave of his hand, 2 rays of light appeared in his hands. Even Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness couldn't identify the 2 rays of light in his hands. This is the first time that I, E.G., have been treated as an ant since I started cultivating. Even if my strength is less than 1/100th of what it used to be, I'm not someone a stray hairy person can point fingers at. When Qin Mutian heard E.G.'s words, he looked at E.G. in surprise. Sure enough, you can see that I'm not from the 5 elements universe. You stink of the wilderness. Do you think you're worthy of being from the 5 elements universe? Tui. The suave Tao Lord Star spat on the ground. Qin Mutian was not angered at all as he swept an indifferent glance at Tao Lord Stellar. You're just trying to show off with your words. If not for someone helping you, you would have long turned into one of the laws within my mystic arts. As he spoke, Qin Mutian opened his left hand slightly, and 2 thin symbols floated beside his hand. The 2 thin symbols were black and white, and the middle of each symbol was hollow. It reminded Ning Cheng of the golden symbols that trapped monkeys in legends. The black and white symbols looked ordinary, but Ning Cheng was sure that they were connate treasures. Moreover, they were top-notch treasures that were born with the light and dark universe. Fellow Taoists, pay attention. This person's black and white symbols can not only shatter all nomological divine abilities, but they can also trap people. I was almost trapped and taken away by him previously. Despite not knowing Ning Cheng, Tao Lord Stellar didn't ignore Ning Cheng. Since Ning Cheng could stand together with E.G. and provoke the anger of this powerhouse in front of him, it showed that he wasn't a weakling. Qin Mutian, you should have a lover by your side. Why don't I see that Zhuinghua? Ning Cheng's protective domain fluctuated as he, E.G., and Tao Lord Stellar surrounded Qin Mutian's horns. Ning Cheng's lips curled up in disdain. Tao Lord Stellar glanced at Ning Cheng in confusion, as if he didn't understand how Ning Cheng knew that the other party was called Qin Mutian. Qin Mutian said coldly, if it weren't for the Chaos Realm, I would have refined the 5 grand realms and heavens beyond into a few storage realms to keep ants in captivity. Anger burned in Ning Cheng's heart. It was indeed Qin Mutian's doing. No wonder he could destroy Liao Qianluo's body so easily. In front of Qin Mutian, Liao Qianluo's principal spirit escaping was definitely not luck but a miracle. Perhaps Qin Mutian had deliberately let Liao Qianluo go. Fortunately, the Chaos Realm had exploded. Otherwise, what could he do even if he killed Qin Mutian? Can you call out that lover of yours called Zhuinghua and let me see? Before Ning Cheng said this, he sent a message to E.G. and Xing Chen. Do it. Even if Ning Cheng hadn't sent a voice transmission, E.G. and Xing Chen wouldn't have given up this moment. Almost at the same time, E.G.'s 2 rays of light turned into a world of light that swept towards Qin Mutian. The golden planet in Xing Chen's hand also came crashing down. Even though he knew that Ning Cheng's words couldn't affect Qin Mutian's state of mind, this was the best time to make a move. Qin Mutian sneered. It was simply a fool's dream to want to affect his state of mind. The thin black and white symbols suddenly disappeared and pressed over outside everyone's Dao rune domain. It was accompanied by a burst of ear-piercing Dao rune sound. In the void, everyone's mixed protective domain space emitted the sound of Tao runes cracking. Crack. At this moment, not only were EG's and Tao Lord Stellar's Tao rune domains shattering, but even their Dharma treasures and divine abilities were beginning to be suppressed. Due to being suppressed by Qin Mutian's thin black and white symbols, Ning Cheng could even see that EG's 2 rays of light were 2 leaves. The majestic black and white nomological Tao runes crushed over. Be it Tao Lord Stellar or itinerant EG's nomological Tao runes, they couldn't stop Qin Mutian's nomological suppression. Almost at this moment, the 2 of them were suppressed by Qin Mutian. They could only cast the beginning of their divine abilities and couldn't continue condensing them. Qin Mutian's strength was much stronger than they had imagined. At this moment, EG finally understood the meaning of Ning Cheng's words. There are definitely more than a handful of people who can compete for the Gate of Fortune. If this person had competed for the Gate of Fortune back then, even if he was at his peak, he would probably be inferior to the other party. Not good, they had been tricked. Almost at the same time, a thought flashed through EG and Tao Lord Stellar's minds. The 2 of them attacked with all their might, but Ning Cheng didn't seem to move at all. In other words, both of them had been tricked by the young man with the spear. This person didn't make a move. Clearly, he wanted to escape while they were attacking. The 2 of them had lived for God knows how long, but they were actually played by a puny junior. This was simply a disgrace. It wasn't just EG and Tao Lord Stellar, even Qin Mutian was puzzled. He was also guarding against Ning Cheng. In his opinion, Ning Cheng's strength wasn't any weaker than EG and Tao Lord Stellar. He wasn't afraid of the 3 of them joining forces, but he still had to be careful. He didn't expect that he wouldn't feel threatened by Ning Cheng at all. That's right, this guy wanted to use this opportunity to escape. Before the 3 of them could make their next decision, a murderous aura swept through the chaotic void and came crashing over. It was as though the entire void had collapsed and they were in the middle of it, unable to escape. The killing aura became more and more terrifying, making them feel that if they were hit by this killing aura, the void would really collapse and the people in the void would be torn apart by the collapse and killing intent. Killing intent was a feeling that had no color or shape. However, the 3 of them who were in the middle of this crushing killing aura not only felt the killing aura, but also saw the gray color of death condensed from the killing aura. The killing aura rolled over. Space trembled, Tao runes fluctuated, and laws tore. Looking northwest, shooting heavenly wolf. Devouring the vast void. 5-colored star splitter arrow. At this moment, be it Qin Mutian, E.G., or Tao Lord Stellar, all of them were shocked by this violent and vast killing intent. All of them recognized what caused this violent killing aura. If it wasn't the 5-colored star splitter arrow, what else could it be? Moreover, it was the 5-colored star splitter arrow that fused into a bow and arrow. Even if the 5-colored star splitter arrow wasn't locked onto him, E.G. felt his entire body tremble. He was secretly afraid. If he really fought with Ning Cheng, he wouldn't be able to dodge this arrow, let alone anything else. Good move. Good opportunity. Tao Lord Stellar was so excited that he swept up his Tao runes and unleashed his sacred art at this moment. At the same time, E.G.'s sacred art's Tao runes also started to go berserk. As ancient powerhouses, if they didn't seize this opportunity, they wouldn't have been able to dominate the vast universe for so many years. The sneer on Qin Mutian's face had long disappeared without a trace. The black and white Tao runes surged endlessly. The 5-colored star splitter arrow's powerful killing aura locked onto him, but he continued to wave his hand seals. So what if it was the 5-colored star splitter arrow? He was Qin Mutian. Chapter 1448. Ning Cheng took a step forward with his right leg and pulled the 5-colored star splitter bow. At the same time, the 5-colored star splitter arrow's killing intent and imposing aura started to rise. The few of them knew that the 5-colored star splitter arrow might tear through the void in the next moment and shoot towards Qin Mutian. At this moment, this arrow was Qin Mutian's greatest threat. Boom boom. Bursts of void tearing Dao charm erupted, and Yi's 2 rays of light finally took shape with the help of Ning Cheng's 5-colored star splitter arrow. Unfortunately, Qin Mutian still had the black and white symbols. A soul-tearing voice rang out, while the blade mark between Yi's eyebrows exploded and blood mist splashed out. If it weren't for Ning Cheng's 5-colored star splitter arrow restraining Qin Mutian, and if it weren't for Dao Lord Stellar's golden star blasting towards Qin Mutian, the seriously injured Yi would have had his head blown apart by the Qian sound. Because of Ning Cheng and Dao Lord Stellar's restriction, Yi's other beam of light still managed to cut through the black and white symbols light and darkness Dao Rune Law and landed outside Qin Mutian's protective domain. At the same time, Dao Lord Stellar's golden planet smashed onto the other symbol. At this moment, all sorts of laws exploded, and the Daoist rhymes became chaotic. The laws of light and darkness and the laws of the 5 elements turned into fragments and mixed together. Dao Lord Stellar's golden planet was like a grinding wheel. The overflowing golden light was accompanied by the explosion of Dao runes. Even so, the golden planet did not break through the black and white symbol. However, the combined efforts of Dao Lord Star and Yi prevented the 2 thin symbols from closing. PFFF. A stream of blood splattered out. The Dao aura around Qin Mutian exploded and became extremely chaotic. One of the 2 leaves that Yi took out directly blasted open Qin Mutian's protective domain, and a bloody mist burst out from Qin Mutian's waist. At the same time, Qin Mutian finally tore apart the gray death space of Ning Cheng's 5-colored star splitter arrow and opened a gap in the 5-colored star splitter arrow's killing power space. At this moment, be it Yi or Dao Lord Xingchen, both of them were shouting at Ning Cheng in their hearts. Hurry up and shoot. If they could make a move, they would have already made a move to stop Ning Cheng from shooting this arrow. This was the most appropriate time to shoot an arrow. They were sure that as long as Ning Cheng shot this arrow, Qin Mutian would definitely suffer heavy injuries. However, Ning Cheng was just like a novice, and did not seem to know that this was the best opportunity. The killing power of his 5-colored star splitter arrow started to weaken, yet he still hadn't shot it. Qin Mutian also felt anxious in his heart. Although he managed to tear a gap in the 5-colored star splitter arrow's killing force space, he still felt worried about Ning Cheng. If Ning Cheng shot the 5-colored star splitter arrow at this moment, he would definitely suffer heavy injuries. With the timing of Ning Cheng's 5-colored star splitter arrow, it was impossible for him not to know that this was the best time. At this moment, he was restrained by Yi and Dao Lord Star. Once he recovered from his stupor, it would be impossible for him to have another chance like this. However, the facts soon surprised Qin Mutian. After he escaped through the gap, Ning Cheng still did not shoot the arrow. How could Qin Mutian miss such a heaven-sent opportunity? His figure flashed, and the black and white symbols swept him up before he disappeared without a trace. The moment Qin Mutian left, the surrounding heaven and earth law aura instantly weakened. As Yi and Dao Lord Star converged their auras, the Dao charm laws that almost blew up this part of the void slowly calmed down. Ning Cheng did not shoot the 5-colored star splitter arrow. When he put it away, a powerful backlash blasted onto Ning Cheng's protective domain, causing Ning Cheng to spit out a mouthful of blood on the spot. Ning Cheng secretly rejoiced in his heart. This was his 3rd step, and the 5-colored star splitter arrow had also become one with the bow and arrow. Plus, he had held back when he brought out the 5-colored star splitter bow. Otherwise, he might not have been able to retrieve the arrow. Once the 5-colored star splitter arrow was brought out, it had to be shot out before it could be retrieved. Why didn't you shoot the 5-colored star splitter arrow? If you had shot that arrow at that time, even if you couldn't kill Qin Mutian, you could have severely injured him. Yi raised his hand and grabbed his 2 leaves while staring at Ning Cheng. He didn't care about the bloody wound on his face that kept spurting out blood. Dao Lord Star grabbed the golden planet. Although Qin Mutian didn't specifically target him, he still suffered a bit of a loss when he clashed with Qin Mutian's half-symbol. He also looked at Ning Cheng in confusion. Because he didn't know the relationship between Ning Cheng and E.G., he didn't speak. Ning Cheng wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and looked at E.G. coldly. "Why didn't you keep Qin Mutian? You know that I'm not his opponent. If I could have kept Qin Mutian, I wouldn't have needed you to tell me." E.G. had already regained his calm. Dao charm circulated around his body, and the wound on his face once again healed. Ning Cheng said calmly, "Me too." When I was about to shoot that arrow, he had already left. Although he said that, Ning Cheng secretly cursed E.G. in his heart. This old man had lived for a few more years, yet he already regarded Ning Cheng as an idiot. Ning Cheng knew that if he had shot that arrow under Dao Lord Star and E.G.'s containment, Qin Mutian would have definitely suffered heavy injuries. However, he was also sure that if he had dared to shoot that arrow, he wouldn't have ended up much better than Qin Mutian. After the five-colored star splitter arrow fused into one, locking onto a powerhouse like Qin Mutian required a huge price. Even if it was Ning Cheng, if he shot that arrow and heavily injured Qin Mutian, he would lose 80% of his strength. However, this wasn't what Ning Cheng was most worried about. What he was most worried about was that once he shot that arrow, Qin Mutian would definitely attack him in order to escape. Perhaps Qin Mutian couldn't kill Ning Cheng, but he could injure him. At this time, if Qin Mutian escaped with heavy injuries, he would have to face E.G.'s killer move. Ning Cheng wasn't an idiot. Would he leave his life to E.G.? Taking back the five-colored star splitter arrow, he would at most suffer minor injuries from the backlash. Compared to leaving his life to E.G., Ning Cheng had already calculated it. If he joined forces with EMO, Ning Cheng would have shot that arrow 100%. However, Ning Cheng knew what kind of person E.G. was the moment he asked for the creation god spear. This was a high and mighty fellow who viewed everyone else as ants. Apart from E.G., there was also a Xing Chen that he didn't know. Ning Cheng didn't dare to take such a risk. He couldn't kill Qin Mutian anyway. Even if he scared Qin Mutian away today, he wouldn't be afraid the next time he met Qin Mutian. So that's how it is. I was wrong about you. E.G. nodded. It was unknown if he believed Ning Cheng's words. Dao Lord Xing Chen understood. He pretended to not know anything and cupped his fists towards Ning Cheng. Many thanks to Dao friend and brother E.G.'s help just now. My name is Renzhongyi. Because I cultivate the star's cultivation method, people call me Dao Lord Xing Chen. Ning Cheng's expression changed. He quickly cupped his fists and replied, so it's the star's cultivation method ranked 8th among the top 10 cultivation methods. I've long heard of Dao friend's name. My name is Ning Cheng. I'm a rogue cultivator. My cultivation method is also messy. Ning Cheng was also a powerhouse now. Naturally, he wouldn't call Dao Lord Xing Chen Sr. Dao Lord Xing Chen laughed. Dao friend Ning is overpraising me. Compared to brother E.G. who cultivates the creation god cultivation method, I, Renzhongyi, am far inferior. That Qin Mutian is simply too strong. I was chased by him until I had no way to escape. If I hadn't cultivated the star's cultivation method and could use the stars to teleport, I would have been killed by him. Besides, if brother Ning's strength is considered messy, I would be ashamed to death. Ning Cheng nodded. This person is indeed powerful. I will fight him eventually. If Ning Cheng said this before Ning Cheng attacked, Dao Lord Xing Chen might have laughed his head off. Now that Ning Cheng said this, Dao Lord Xing Chen wasn't surprised at all. He could tell that Ning Cheng was very young and the Dao runes around him were condensed. Ning Cheng seemed to be even stronger than him at the third step. In addition, Ning Cheng had the 5-color star splitter arrow. He completely believed that Ning Cheng could fight against Qin Mutian one day. Brother E.G., who left your injury? Dao Lord Xing Chen didn't forget about rogue cultivator E.G. After all, E.G. had attacked just now. You should know. It's the junior who caused the chaotic outer world to explode, rogue cultivator E.G. said calmly as though he had completely forgotten about his hatred for Yemo. Dao Lord Xing Chen didn't ask anymore. Clearly, he knew how powerful Yemo was. Ning Qing didn't care about E.G.'s thoughts and asked, "Two Dao friends, may I ask why the Chaos Realm exploded?" Ning Qing knew Yemo's power. Even if Yemo reached third step, he shouldn't have the power to make the Chaos Realm explode. E.G.'s expression remained calm, as if he had no intention of answering Ning Qing's question. However, Dao Lord Stellar valued Ning Qing very much. He said cautiously, "Brother Ning, there are some errors in what you just said. It wasn't the Chaos Realm that exploded, but the Chaos Outer Realm. Brother Zhongyi, is there any difference?" Ning Qing asked in doubt. Dao Lord Stellar's tone was very polite and respectful to him. Ning Qing also changed the way he addressed him. "Of course there's a difference," explained Dao Lord Astral. "The Chaos Realm is located within the Chaos Void. It is divided into the outer world and the inner world. When most people talked about the Chaos Realm, they were talking about the outside world. The true treasure trove of the realm of chaos was the inner world. Do you know why so many experts are staying here? Because they were all searching for the inner world. Of course, me too. When I vindicated third step in the Chaos Outer Realm, I thought I had attained Dao, but when I stood there, I realized that my Dao had just begun." Ning Qing had never heard of these secrets. He knew that if the ancient Dao Lord didn't say it, he definitely wouldn't know about it. "Then have you found the Chaos Inner World?" Ning Qing quickly asked. Dao Lord Astral smiled bitterly, "Seeing that I'm still wandering around here, you know I haven't found it yet. Because no one has been to the Chaos Inner World, there's another rumor. The Chaos Realm is divided into 9 domains. The outer world that exploded was only the first domain. As for why the Chaos Outer World exploded, it was indeed because of Yemo. By the way, do you know Yemo?" Ning Qing answered, "I do." "So that's it." Dao Lord Astral nodded, "That Yemo is really amazing. There are countless people at the third step in the Chaos Outer World. Yemo is also at the third step in the Chaos Outer World. After we reach the third step, we try to control the Dao and reach higher levels. Do you know what he's doing?" Chapter 1449. Before Ning Qing could answer, Dao Lord Xing Chen said his Dao vindication third step caused too much commotion. Almost everyone in the Chaos Realm was alerted. When I arrived, he was fighting with Green Lotus's sword boy. That girl was infinitely close to realm unity and had the A by sword, but she wasn't a match for him. From this, you can see how great Yemo's achievements are. "Sword boy? You mean Xing Shi?" Ning Qing asked in confusion. Dao Lord Xing Chen said, "That's right, it's her. Back then, she was just a sword boy under sacred leader Green Lotus. Because she obtained the broken Green Lotus of creation, she actually achieved what she has today. Fate really makes fools of people. Brother Zhongyi, ignore that sword boy. Keep talking." Ning Qing replied. Xing Shi was indeed very strong before, but now that he was at the third step, he didn't consider her a threat. If he met Xing Shi again, Ning Qing was confident he could beat her. Dao Lord Xing Chen continued, "Logically speaking, he had just reached the third step and easily defeated that girl. He should be very proud. But he actually fell into a daze. At that time, I thought I was seeing things." Dao Lord Xing Chen looked at Ning Qing, "Brother Ning, you're at the third step. You should know how hard it is to vindicate third step, much less in the Chaos Realm. The Chaos Realm isn't a place ordinary people can come in. Even if you come in, there are very few people who can reach the third step with the help of the Chaos Realm. Those who can do it are all amazing prodigies. After Yi Mo's days, there was determination on his face. Then, his Tao waves swept like crazy and he started to sever his own Tao. Everyone else thought there was something wrong with their eyes, much less me. Tao Lord Xingqian seemed to have thought of E.G. and said awkwardly, "Brother E.G., I should have guessed it was him who injured you. I really haven't found anyone stronger than him who uses a sword." Tao severing. Ning Cheng muttered to himself. It was because of the primal chaos ash stone and the heart of light and darkness that he found the strongest way to reach the third step. He didn't expect Yi Mo to think of it too, but when Yi Mo realized it, he was already at the third step. He must have known that his third step was not the strongest, so he had decisively severed his Tao. With so many powerhouses watching, how much courage and boldness would it take to cut down one's Tao at that time? However, Ning Cheng immediately calmed down. If it were him, he would also not hesitate to cut his Tao at that time. When one first stepped into the third step, Tao severing was the easiest. Once his realm merged with the heaven and earth laws of his cultivation technique, it would be too late for him to sever his Tao. Even if it wasn't too late, it was still affected. If he wanted to prove it, he had to prove the strongest Tao. At first, we didn't understand why he was doing this. Some people were already planning to rob Yi Mo. How could an expert who could enter the chaos realm and easily reach the third step be simple? No one would believe that he didn't have any rare treasures on him. At that time, someone understood the reason very quickly, but that girl, Sacred Lord Green Lotus, beat them to it. Although Tao Lord Star's tone was calm, it was filled with emotions, as if he was lamenting the passing of time. Ning Cheng didn't understand it all this time and quickly asked why. Tao Lord Star sighed, because when Yi Mo reached the third step, he realized that he wasn't stepping into the strongest Tao. That's why he severed his Tao. Because of Yi Mo's Tao severing, the spectators realized. Ning Cheng frowned. "Brother Zhongyi, you guys probably condensed your own Tao wave laws and formed a world to reach the third step Tao, right? Is there a Tao stronger than this?" Despite Ning Cheng being confused, he didn't doubt his Tao. Even if Tao Lord Star said there was a Tao stronger than the third step he reached, he didn't care. As long as his Tao was the strongest Tao in his Tao will, it was fine. There were trillions of cultivation paths and so were the Tao. Ning Cheng wouldn't doubt his Tao just because of a few words from Tao Lord Star. Tao Lord Star's face dimmed. "You're right. Which one of those who vindicated Tao in the Chaos Realm didn't condense their own laws to form a world and reach the third step? But condensing one's own laws and severing one's Tao are two different things. You also know that I cultivate the star cultivation method, but when I reached the third step, I couldn't bear to sever my star law. Fate Tao Lord, Karma Tao Lord, which one is an exception?" Ning Cheng instantly understood. One could not see the true face of Enthelushan, only because one was in this mountain. These words were not wrong. These powerhouses were indeed third-step cultivators who condensed their own laws and formed a world. However, they couldn't bear to sever their Tao, so there were still traces of it in their own realm domain. This traceable trace was the great Tao of heaven and earth that they had once cultivated. Ning Cheng slowly exhaled, as he recalled the time when he stepped into the third step. If he didn't sever his Tao and the heaven-earth Tao of the five-element universe, how could he comprehend it? How could he proudly say that as long as I'm here, the Tao is here? From this, it could be seen that Yi Mo realized this the instant he reached the third step. Then, he severed his Tao without hesitation. "Brother Zhongyi, you said that Xing Shi understood this and was one step ahead. Did she also sever her Tao at that time? But she reached the third step a long time ago. Even if she severed her Tao, she probably wouldn't be able to sever it." Ning Cheng asked again. Tao Lord Star said seriously, "Because Yi Mo just reached the third step and when he severed his Tao, the heaven-earth Tao wave Qi was still there." That's the heaven-earth Tao wave formed when an immortal reached the third step. Xing Shi used his heaven-earth Tao wave. You're saying Xing Shi also severed her Tao? Ning Qing asked in shock. If this woman really did that, then she was too decisive. Tao Lord Star said heavily, yes, she did use Yi Mo's heaven-earth Tao wave to sever her Tao. She reached the third step for a long time and only severed her Tao at that time could she remove the Tao law fused into her Tao. By the time the others reacted, they were already used by her. Even if the others reacted, they probably wouldn't be able to do it right. How many world creation realm cultivators are there here? Ning Qing sighed at Xing Shi's decisiveness in his heart and spoke with flagging interest. Xing Shi severed her Tao. As long as this woman didn't die, it meant that her power would improve again. You're right. Xing Shi is only one step away from realm merging. Once she does, it wouldn't be so easy to use Yi Mo's heaven-earth Tao wave to sever her Tao. Tao Lord Star agreed. Ning Qing said, did someone want to take advantage of the chaos after Yi Mo and Xing Shi severed their Tao and caused a huge commotion? Tao Lord Star nodded, that's right. Everyone in the chaos realm is powerful. Who wouldn't want Yi Mo and Xing Shi who could sever their Tao and even have the creation green lotus? But they underestimated Yi Mo and Xing Shi's power. Even though they severed their Tao, the Tao waves they severed didn't dissipate immediately. At that time, all sorts of divine abilities exploded, and endless Tao runes and laws exploded. With so many divine ability laws exploding at the same time, and in order to protect themselves, the powerhouses of the Chaos Realm also unleashed their great divine ability attacks. As a result, the outside world of the Chaos Realm was blasted apart and exploded. So this was the case, Ning Qing finally understood. He sneered at E.G., Tao friend E.G., it seems your luck is quite good. You found Yi Mo who escaped after the Chaos Realm cracked open. E.G. said plainly, if Yi Mo didn't reach the third step again, he would have died in my hands. Ning Qing didn't attack E.G. anymore. He could tell that although Yi Mo injured E.G., he also seemed to have suffered a bit. Xing Chen spoke to Ning Qing with some regret, Brother Ning, it's really a pity for you. You condensed your own laws, created a world, and reached the third step. You are considered an apex expert. If you can be like Yi Mo and sever Tao first and then form your own law to reach third step, your future will be even stronger. Ning Qing showed a faint smile but did not explain. Before he had reached the third step, he had severed his original Tao rune law, which was why he had broken through to the third step. Seeing that Ning Qing didn't care, Tao Lord Xing Chen didn't say much. He took out a communication bead and asked Ning Qing, Brother Ning, do you have any special places you want to go? If not, why don't we travel together? Although he had teamed up with E.G. to fight against an enemy, Ning Qing still had a deep vigilance against E.G. As such, he naturally would not team up with someone like E.G. Many thanks, Brother Zhongyi. I still have some things to take care of. See you later. Okay, then I'll go with Brother E.G. first. Once we find the Chaos Inner Realm, I will tell Brother Ning immediately. Tao Lord Xing Chen spoke openly without any pretense. Ning Qing said gratefully, me too. Once I find the Chaos Inner Realm, I will tell Brother Zhongyi. Then, Ning Qing asked again, Brother Zhongyi, I want to ask you about someone. Do you know who the original owner of the creation abstruse yellow bead is? Is he here? When Tao Lord Xing Chen heard Ning Qing's question, his eyes immediately lit up. He vaguely guessed the purpose of Ning Qing's question. For people like them, they could guess too many things from the slightest clue. Unlike E.G., he didn't hide anything and said directly, I've seen the previous owner of the creation abstruse yellow bead. I met him in the Chaos Outer Realm 5 million years ago. By the way, he's called Xianhuang Gaian. He's much stronger than me. The last sentence reminded Ning Qing to be careful. After saying this, Tao Lord Xing Chen didn't talk anymore. He said goodbye to Ning Qing and quickly left with E.G. From beginning to end, e.g. didn't exchange the abstruse yellow bead with Ning Cheng, nor did he ask Ning Cheng for the creation divine spear. Xian Huang Gaian, Ning Cheng remembered this name. As soon as he heard this name, he knew that it had something to do with the abstruse yellow bead. Chapter 1450. After learning that the Chaos Realm had an inner realm, Ning Cheng wasn't particularly worried about Qin Mutian. Qin Mutian would never give up on the Chaos Realm and go out to destroy the Grand Essence Realm. How could someone like Qin Mutian leave the Chaos Realm without getting anything? Zhu Yinghua must have a special method to entice Qin Mutian to go to the Grand Change Realm. However, this method wasn't worth mentioning for Qin Mutian in front of the Chaos Realm. Otherwise, Qin Mutian wouldn't have left the Grand Change Realm and suddenly come to the Chaos Realm. As long as Qin Mutian didn't go, it would be a joke for Zhu Yinghua to go to the Grand Essence Realm alone. For Ning Cheng, the most important thing right now was to improve his strength to at least be able to confront Qin Mutian. Otherwise, even if he met Qin Mutian again, he wouldn't be his opponent. To improve his strength, the Chaos Inner Realm was also a place he urgently needed to go. The chaotic void might have exploded due to the chaotic Outer Realm, so its laws were in a mess. People with weaker cultivation couldn't even survive here. Ning Cheng naturally didn't care about it with his strength. It's just that he couldn't cultivate in this chaotic void. At this moment, he was like everyone else, trying to find the Chaos Inner Realm, or rather the other 8 domains of the Chaos Realm. Almost all the powerhouses in the 5-element universe had gathered here to search. It would be strange if the Chaos Inner Realm was simple. Ning Cheng was also very clear in his heart, that at his current realm, if he wanted to take another step forward, it would require countless years of accumulation. What he lacked was those countless years. He didn't dare to leave the Chaos Realm and return to the Grand Essence Realm to cultivate in peace. If he left here and Qin Mutian and the others found the Chaos Inner Realm, their strength would rise again. It would be a disaster for him. He was already weaker than Qin Mutian. If Qin Mutian's strength rose again, how could he fight against Qin Mutian? The chaotic void was so vast that even Ning Cheng couldn't use his spiritual consciousness to spy on a corner of it. This made Ning Cheng sigh in his heart. Compared to this boundless chaotic void, he was insignificant. Here, time was like flowing water, the most worthless thing. A few months passed in a blink of an eye. Not to mention finding the Chaos Inner Realm, Ning Cheng didn't even know where he was. Over the past few months, he was like a headless fly, bumping around. He began to wonder if he should send a message to Tao Lord Stellar and form a companion with him. Otherwise, there would be no effect if he continued like this. Tao Lord Star had been through countless eras in this void, he shouldn't be as clueless as Su Zimo. A billowing aura rushed over, interrupting Ning Cheng's thoughts. Ning Cheng stopped, and immediately became convinced that someone was fighting in the distance. Even his spiritual sense couldn't reach the place where the battle was taking place. Over the past few months, Ning Cheng hadn't seen a single person. Therefore, he didn't hesitate to follow the direction of the Tao charm fluctuations. He wasn't very familiar with this chaotic void, but it wouldn't be easy for anyone to crush him in this chaotic void. Even if he encountered Qin Mutian, he didn't believe that Qin Mutian could lock him down and prevent him from escaping. After half an incense stick worth of time, Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept through the 2 people fighting. What surprised him was that he knew one of them, Xing Shi. The Tao runes around Xing Shi were completely different from the last time he saw her. She had the aura of the vast universe. Clearly, this woman had undergone a qualitative transformation. Ning Cheng sighed in his heart. This woman was indeed powerful. Not only was she decisive, but she also knew how to find opportunities. She actually severed all the original Tao charm aura on her. Now, she had a brand new vast Tao charm law. Compared to before, Xing Shi's strength had skyrocketed. Xing Shi's opponent was a woman. Her cultivation level was higher than Xing Shi's, even at the peak of Unity Realm. Clearly, this woman's cultivation level was higher than Xing Shi's, but her strength was far inferior to Xing Shi's. Ning Cheng was sure that if this woman didn't escape, she would be killed by Xing Shi in the next moment. Ning Cheng saw Xing Shi, and Xing Shi also saw Ning Cheng. She abandoned her opponent without hesitation and landed in front of Ning Cheng in a few steps. Ning Cheng, there's a path to heaven that you didn't take. You actually came to the chaotic void. Yi Mo isn't here today, let's see how you can escape. Seeing the passionate gaze in Xing Shi's eyes, Ning Cheng knew that Xing Shi was definitely thinking about his abstruse yellow bead. Ning Cheng couldn't be bothered with Xing Shi at all. Instead, he looked at the woman who was almost killed by Xing Shi and asked, "This woman is dealing with me now. Why don't you escape? You know, this is a good opportunity." As though feeling that Ning Cheng's tone was a bit contemptuous, the woman said in a cold tone, "Shi Xiangjuan, don't need others to live if I want to. Your surname is Shi." At first, Ning Cheng felt that this woman's words were really inexplicable. It was only because of him that she avoided a disaster. But when he heard that this woman's surname was Shi, his expression changed. The reason why he took the initiative to talk to this woman just now was because he felt that this woman's cultivation method was very familiar to him. Now that this woman's surname was Shi, Ning Cheng wanted to know more about her relationship with the 9 Revolutions sacred Dao Pond. Shi Xiangjuan frowned slightly and didn't answer Ning Cheng's words. She could also tell that Ning Cheng seemed to have something to say. Despite that, she didn't plan to stay. Xing Shi snorted coldly, and a powerful Dao wave aura crushed towards Ning Cheng. This Ning Cheng was really courting death. At this time, he still had time to chat with irrelevant people. Ning Cheng raised the creation god spear in his hand slightly. "Xing Shi, if you want to fight, wait. By the way, let me tell you something. I know where the last petal of your good fortune azure lotus is." Xing Shi, who was about to start, suddenly paused after hearing Ning Cheng's words. Then, her eyes lit up. "You said you know where the 12th petal of my azure lotus is?" Ning Cheng ignored Xing Shi and spoke to Shi Xiangjuan again. "Dao friend Shi, wait a moment. After I teach this woman a lesson, I'll talk to you. I have a deep relationship with the 9 Revolution sacred Dao Pond." Shi Xiangjuan's expression immediately turned cautious when she heard Ning Cheng mention the 9 Revolution sacred Dao Pond. Although she didn't answer Ning Cheng's words, she also didn't want to leave. "Where is the azure lotus petal?" As Xing Shi spoke, the domain aura around her completely locked down the void around her. In her eyes, as long as Ning Cheng said something wrong, she would immediately drag Ning Cheng into her azure lotus world. When Ning Cheng saw that Shi Xiangjuan didn't want to leave, he looked at Xing Shi and said sarcastically, "Xing Shi, don't ask about the azure lotus petal. Let's settle the accounts. One of the azure lotus petal you snatched belonged to my friend. Back then, you didn't have any reason to." Xing Shi didn't have the leisure to listen to Ning Cheng's long-winded words. The infinite pain sword swept up thousands of sword lights and overwhelmingly locked down Ning Cheng. Shi Xiangjuan, who was watching the battle from the side, felt shocked. What kind of sword light was this? This was simply the crushing of a sword light's Dao charm space. When Xing Shi dealt with her just now, she didn't even bring out the infinite pain sword, which showed the gap between her and Xing Shi. To deal with this young man in front of her, Xing Shi brought out the infinite pain sword. Apparently, she thought that this young man was stronger than her. "Ning Cheng, so what if you've reached the 3rd step? You will find out today that you're still an ant in front of me." After Xing Shi brought out the infinite pain sword, she took a step forward without any scruples. Apparently, she didn't bring out the infinite pain sword because she thought that Ning Cheng was strong. Instead, she wanted to deal with Ning Cheng in the shortest time possible. This woman was crazy. Even if Qin Mutian wanted to deal with him, he wouldn't dare to use such an arrogant and crushing aura, right? Fortunately, this woman still knew to use her magic artifact. Otherwise, this day next year would be her death anniversary. Ning Cheng's creation god spear swept up waves of Dao charm. Layers of void collapsed in front of the creation god spear, forming a spatial dislocation. The infinite pain sword blasted out a crisscrossing red sword light. Even if the sword light formed a Dao charm space, Ning Cheng's long spear brought up layers of void collapses and disappeared. The realm domain that crushed Ning Cheng also collapsed at this moment. You also reached the third step. Xing Shi's face changed drastically, and a chill seeped into her bones. She didn't expect that Ning Cheng was also at the third step besides her and Yi Mo. She had been too careless because of the news of the creation green lotus fragment. Ning Cheng said in disdain, "I won't be like you, using other people's feet to wash." Puff. A bloody light appeared. The traceless sky collapsing spear ray tore apart Xing Shi's realm domain and cut her in half. Blood mist sprayed out, and Xing Shi's entire body fused with the Avicii sword in the blood mist. The next moment, the green lotus under her feet turned into a green light, rolling up the blood mist. The Avicii sword and Xing Shi's broken body disappeared without a trace. Ning Cheng looked at the realm torn apart by the green lotus and didn't chase. His strength had completely suppressed Xing Shi, but it was still a bit difficult to lock onto her and kill her in such a place. If Xing Shi hadn't been too arrogant just now, he would have to spend more effort. Shi Xiangjuan, who was watching the battle from the side, stared at the place where Ning Cheng and Xing Shi fought in shock. The battle just now wasn't even a big battle. At best, it was just a touch. In this short time, the winner between Ning Cheng and Xing Shi was decided. She naturally knew how powerful Xing Shi was. Such a powerful woman didn't even seem to have the power to resist in front of this young man called Ning Cheng. If that woman didn't have some means, she might have been killed today. Even so, that woman wouldn't be able to recover her strength in a day or two. The surrounding void Dao waves gradually calmed down, and Shi Xiangjuan felt a deep sense of powerlessness. She had struggled in the chaos realm for so many years and was very diligent. But compared to these powerhouses, she was still an ant. "Dao friend Ning Cheng, why did you keep me here?" Despite knowing that Ning Cheng was here because of the 9 Revolutions sacred Dao pond, Shi Xiangjuan still took the initiative to ask. Not to mention that Ning Cheng drove away Xing Shi, which was equivalent to saving her life, but with Ning Cheng's strength, she would be crushed. Chapter 1451. Senior Shi, did you establish the 9 Revolutions sacred Dao pond? Are you from the Grand Essence realm? Ning Cheng cupped his fists and asked with a polite tone. If Shi Xiangjuan was Shi Qionghua's predecessor, then he would have to respect her, which had nothing to do with cultivation. Establish a 9 Revolutions sacred Dao pond. Shi Xiangjuan looked at Ning Cheng in doubt, but then seemed to understand something, and spoke up, "Dao friend Ning's words are too heavy, I do not dare to call you a senior. As for the 9 Revolutions sacred Dao pond, it's just a weapon I used in the past. This weapon is related to my cultivation method. As for the Grand Essence realm, I have never been there." Magic treasure. The 9 Revolutions sacred Dao pond was one of the 3 sacred gates of the Grand Essence realm. How did it become a weapon? Ning Cheng patted his forehead, he knew that there must be a reason for this. "Senior, do you still have this magic treasure? Can you let me see him?" Ning Cheng asked again. Shi Xiangjuan's expression changed. After a while, she said, "I sent this magic treasure away back then. As for where it is now, I don't know." "Then who is Senior giving it to?" Ning Cheng continued to ask. If not for Ning Cheng speaking politely, coupled with Ning Cheng's terrifying strength, Shi Xiangjuan would have long since ignored Ning Cheng. At this moment, she reluctantly said, "When I first started my career, I left behind a daughter. I gave this magic treasure to my daughter." Ning Cheng immediately understood that he did not need to continue to ask. From this, one could confirm that Shi Qionghua's ancestor established the 9 revolutions sacred Dao Pond, and the ancestor who established the 9 revolutions sacred Dao Pond was Shi Xiangjuan's daughter. As for how Shi Xiangjuan got pregnant and left behind a daughter, there must be a melodramatic story behind it. Ning Cheng did not care about this at all. Shi Xiangjuan even mentioned her daughter in a flat tone, which showed that she had completely cut off all the karma of the past. She had come to the chaos realm to pursue the great Tao. If Shi Xiangjuan wasn't afraid of him, she probably wouldn't have said these words. Understanding that although Shi Xiangjuan was Shi Qionghua's ancestor, she had no emotional connection with Shi Qionghua, Ning Cheng did not mention Shi Qionghua again, but continued to ask, Senior should have been in the chaotic void for a long time, and should be much more familiar with the chaotic void compared to this Junior. Junior has been searching here for many years, but I haven't found anything valuable. Senior, please give me some pointers. Shi Xiangjuan cupped her fists towards Ning Cheng and spoke, I wouldn't dare. Although I've been in the chaotic void for many years, I also know some places. These places are all occupied by some experts, and ordinary people can't go there. Oh. What is that place? Ning Cheng immediately became interested. After all, he had been wandering around the chaos void for a few months now. Apart from fighting 2 battles, he had gained nothing. Shi Xiangjuan nodded and said to Ning Cheng, since you came to the chaotic void, you should know the difference between the chaos inside and outside, right? I know. I've been trying my best to find the inner world, but I haven't found a single clue. Ning Cheng spoke up without mincing words. Shi Xiangjuan didn't find Ning Cheng's answer surprising at all and replied, in fact, it's not just you, but many of the powerhouses in the chaos void have never found the chaos inner world. However, within the chaos realm, there were some extremely hidden corners of the chaos realm. These were the most valuable places in the chaos realm. It's not your first day in the chaotic void. You should know that the chaotic void is not suitable for cultivation. However, places like the chaos fringe weren't affected by the chaos realm. Not only would cultivating there advance by leaps and bounds, but one's comprehension would also be countless times better than cultivating in ordinary places. It was said that these places were the closest to the chaotic inner world. It's just that the powerhouses who occupy these places can only cultivate in these places and can't find the chaos inner world through these corners. If the chaos outer world exploded, wouldn't these places also disappear? Ning Cheng asked. Shi Xiangjuan shook her head, no. Although these places are in the chaos outer world, they also seem to have nothing to do with the chaos outer world. Even if the chaos outer world exploded, it wouldn't affect these places. Do you know such a place? Ning Cheng quickly asked. I know. When that woman chased me before, she wanted me to lead the way and take her to the chaos fringe. Shi Xiangjuan replied. Ning Cheng cupped his fists and said, Senior, please give me some pointers. I also want to go to such a place. Shi Xiangjuan knew that Ning Cheng would definitely ask her about such a place, so she didn't hide it. Such a place can't be described with jade strips. I came across such a place by chance. It's just that I don't dare to approach it. Those who can go to such a place are all powerhouses. Ning Cheng replied, Senior also knows my strength. Senior, please rest assured. As long as you take me there, even if I can't beat those powerhouses, I can still take you away. If I have a place, I will definitely help you to gain a foothold in it until I leave. Regardless of whether he could find the chaos inner world or not, it was the most important thing for Ning Cheng to improve his strength. He could also see what Shi Xiangjuan needed. Shi Xiangjuan had stayed here for so many years, which meant that she obviously wanted to improve her strength. It's just that her strength was too weak. Before the chaos outer world exploded, she could have found a place to cultivate in this place. But after the chaos outer world exploded, it would be a bit difficult for her to cultivate in this place. Well, I just want to cultivate in the chaos fringe. For the sake of mutual sincerity, you and I can address each other as Dao friends. Shi Xiangjuan spoke without hesitation. She didn't feel comfortable with Ning Qing addressing her as senior. Agreed. Dao friend Xiangjuan, please lead the way. Ning Qing naturally agreed to Shi Xiangjuan's request. Shi Xiangjuan's speed wasn't slow. Even so, the two of them had to travel through the chaos void for nearly a month before Shi Xiangjuan stopped. We're here. This is the chaos fringe that I first discovered. Shi Xiangjuan pointed to the void in front of her. Here. Ning Cheng's eyes widened as he looked at the void in front of him. His spiritual consciousness swept out over and over again, but he didn't find any abnormalities. Shi Xiangjuan apparently knew what Ning Cheng was doing and shook her head at Ning Cheng. The chaos fringe contains only fragments of laws. Unless you control all the law fragments here, you won't be able to find it. It's just a coincidence that I could find this place. At that time, I saw someone go in and disappear. I tried to come over and walked for tens of thousands of years before reaching the entrance. But because I felt the aura of a powerhouse inside, I didn't dare to go in. Fortunately, I was tactful, and no one attacked me when I left. Ning Qing spoke with a solemn voice, I know. You can lead the way. Shi Xiangjuan didn't speak again. If Ning Qing couldn't stay in this place, then she would have to leave the chaos void. Looking for the chaos inner world was something too far away for her. Now that the chaos outer world exploded, with her strength, it would be too dangerous to continue wandering in this chaos void. Shi Xiangjuan walked cautiously, and Ning Qing followed behind her. After walking for just an incense stick worth of time, he understood what was going on. This void had many layers, and because of the law fragments everywhere, even if it was close, it could cause one's spiritual consciousness to deviate. Shi Xiangjuan clearly walked around this area, but Ning Qing felt that she was constantly bypassing layers of overlapping laws. From this, it could be seen that Shi Xiangjuan was right. If Shi Xiangjuan hadn't brought him here, he would never have found this place. Since Shi Xiangjuan brought him here, even if she didn't continue to lead the way, he could find the entrance as long as he spent some time. Shi Xiangjuan walked for a few days before finally stopping. Ning Qing didn't need to use his spiritual consciousness to sweep out and could already see the place in front of him. Behind a faint mist, a vast and majestic aura spread out. Even standing outside, one could feel the Tao charm of primal chaos. It's here. Shi Xiangjuan looked a little excited. She had struggled to find the Tao all her life. At this moment, standing in front of a cultivation place that could help her take another step forward, she naturally couldn't contain the excitement in her heart. Ning Qing nodded and spoke, "You follow behind me." After saying that, he didn't stop and stepped into the vast space behind the faint mist. No matter where one went, cultivation resources were extremely limited, not to mention the cultivation resources of a supreme powerhouse. Facing such a place, Ning Qing wouldn't stand on ceremony. If others could cultivate, he could also cultivate. The faint mist didn't have any restrictions or array formations, so Ning Qing easily stepped into it. As soon as Ning Qing stepped in, he felt as if he had soaked in a hot spring. A faint Tao charm washed over his body, giving him a comfortable feeling. Shi Xiangjuan was right. The primal chaos aura here was even more intense, and it was a pure Tao charm without any influence from the laws of heaven and earth. Ning Qing hadn't started cultivating yet, but just by walking in, he could feel that this place had a great effect on solidifying his grand Tao charm. Shi Xiangjuan, who followed behind Ning Qing, trembled with excitement. If she cultivated here for 10,000 years, even if her cultivation realm didn't rise, her strength would at least double. Although Shi Xiangjuan wanted to find a place to cultivate in this place, she knew that this wasn't a place for her and Ning Qing to stay. Ning Qing naturally wouldn't cultivate right now. Instead, his gaze fell on the void in front of him. This void looked the same as what he saw from the outside. A faint mist flowed slowly, and one's spiritual consciousness couldn't even touch the edges of this space. In this place, there were no mountains or water. Apart from the faint mist and the rich primal chaos Tao charm, there were only a few figures suspended in the void. Ning Qing remembered watching a movie. It seemed to be the main hall where Buddha of the Western Paradise resided, with various arhats suspended high and low in the mist. But the scene here was exactly the same as what he had seen in that movie. The several figures sat cross-legged suspended in the thin mist in the void. Each of them was wrapped in endless Tao charm, showing that they had been cultivating here for a long time. This place already has an owner. Come on out. A calm voice fell into Ning Cheng's ears, and a vigorous Tao charm directly bombarded Ning Cheng's mind. If replaced by a slightly weaker person, this voice would have easily torn apart their sea of consciousness. But for Ning Cheng, this Tao charm couldn't hurt him. Ning Cheng gently waved his hand, and the powerful aura that had crushed down on him disappeared without a trace. Chapter 1452. Ning Cheng easily dispelled the sound attack, causing the several people who were still suspended in the thin mist to feel a chill run down their spines. The swirling Daoist aura also came to a halt. It was obvious that the powerhouses who were still cultivating had temporarily stopped their cultivation. No wonder you dare to come in. You have the capital to be arrogant. The figure furthest from Ning Cheng snorted coldly. Suddenly, he stretched out his foot and kicked towards Ning Cheng. With this kick, the Tao charm of the entire world completely controlled the Tao charm of this kick, which then locked onto Ning Cheng's body. Rumbling sounds followed the kick, and it felt as if the world itself was collapsing. Seeing such a familiar scene, Ning Cheng shook his head. These people really thought of themselves as arhats and used the same method to deal with monkeys to deal with him. Ning Cheng also didn't bring out the good fortune divine spear. Instead, he casually took a step forward, and the Tao charm of the laws that locked Ning Cheng instantly shattered. With a "kacha" sound, Ning Cheng pointed out with a finger. The laws shattered, the Tao charm collapsed, and all things perished. A finger to break laws. Violent killing intent surged, and the expert who stretched out his foot trembled slightly. He then hurriedly tried to retract his foot. However, it was easy to kick out, but difficult to retract. Streaks of Taoist rhymes shackled that leg, causing it to tremble slightly. Poof, the Tao charm laws exploded, and the foot turned into broken Tao charm laws under Ning Cheng's law-breaking finger, along with a faint aura of blood mist. After that finger, the tumbling aura between heaven and earth instantly dissipated. Even Shi Xiangjuan could clearly feel that the Tao charm of the expert who had just kicked out was now in chaos, and his cultivation had dropped significantly. The chaos Tao rune aura around the few of them, who were wrapped in the Tao rune law, instantly dispersed, revealing their true appearances. At this moment, no one dared to continue cultivating, and no one dared to make a move against Ning Cheng. The entire space fell into silence. Although there were 5 people cultivating here, everyone was just using the same place to cultivate. If Ning Cheng was a weakling, maybe he would have 4 more kicks after this one. But Ning Cheng's strength had already told everyone here that whoever dared to move their feet would turn into nothingness. You are qualified to cultivate here. The man who kicked out had a deep voice. He was a purple copper-faced man with an unruly face. After losing his leg to Ning Cheng's finger, he didn't attack again. He knew that even if he were to make a move, he would be the only one to deal with Ning Cheng. The other 4 people would not come forward. Based on the power of Ning Cheng's finger, he estimated that he wouldn't be Ning Cheng's opponent in a one-on-one fight. After the man finished speaking, the other 4 didn't raise any objections. Obviously, they agreed with the man's words. Hearing this, Shi Xiangjuan felt pleasantly surprised. Since Ning Cheng was qualified to cultivate in this place, it meant that she could also cultivate in this place. Ning Cheng raised his hand, and the good fortune spirit spear fell into it. Whether I'm qualified to cultivate here or not, it's not up to you to decide. I'll give you 10 breaths to leave this place, or I'll give you. As he spoke, Ning Cheng's killing intent surrounded him, and his Dao charm surged endlessly. Shi Xiangjuan was stunned. She did not think that Ning Cheng would not give up just because the other party allowed them to cultivate here. However, after her gaze swept over the others, she instantly understood what was going on. You want to chase me away? The man who was sitting at the very top asked with a hint of anger in his tone. His Dao runes were also surging around him. You want to drive me away? The man sitting at the top spoke with a hint of anger. Dao charm surged around him. He had to get rid of this person, not to mention that this person had kicked him. Even if this person had not kicked him, Ning Cheng would have occupied the place where this person was sitting. He had to drive this person away. Not to mention that this person kicked him as soon as he came in. Even if this person didn't kick him, Ning Cheng would occupy the spot where he sat. But that wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was that Ning Cheng felt it the moment he came in. If he wanted to find out if he could enter the chaotic inner world, he had to occupy the spot where the purple-faced man sat. If the purple-faced man didn't kick him, Ning Cheng would at most let him change places. But now that the purple-faced man wanted to kill him, he couldn't blame him for being impolite. For Ning Cheng, there was nothing more important than his eagerness to improve his strength. If he didn't seize the opportunity to improve his strength in this chaotic void, how could he stop Qin Mutian from destroying the Grand Essence realm when he came out? You. The purple-faced man's Dao charm surged, as if he would attack with full force in the next moment. Ning Cheng didn't care about it at all. He stepped into the void, and the creation divine spear condensed a monstrous aura. His tone became even more impolite. Time's up. I'm leaving. The purple-faced man finally resisted the idea of fighting Ning Cheng. With a grunt, he stepped out of the mist. From Ning Cheng's aura, he could feel that he couldn't beat Ning Cheng. Coupled with the heavy blow from that kick, his strength had taken a big step back. But he remembered Ning Cheng. In the chaotic void, there were all sorts of opportunities. If one day he obtained a big opportunity, he would definitely come back to take back the face he lost. Yu Guanghao greets Dao Monarch. After the purple-faced man left, before Ning Cheng's gaze swept over them, the other four stood up and cupped their fists. Ning Cheng spoke with a calm tone, this monarch will arrange a defensive array here in a while. If you don't feel at ease, you can leave now. If you don't want to leave, please cultivate on your own. Let's not offend each other. If anyone wants to make a move, don't blame this monarch for being impolite. Even if I have to chase you all the way to the chaotic void, this monarch will not hesitate. This was a place where the strong were respected. Ning Cheng would never speak nicely to them. To be able to be here, which one of them wasn't a peerless powerhouse that could move unhindered through a region? In the face of such a powerhouse, only you were stronger than the other party. Otherwise, even if you knelt down and kowtowed, no one would pity you. The great Tao was ruthless, this was not just a saying. Ning Cheng knew this well, so he didn't need to pretend to be polite. Hearing that Ning Cheng wanted to arrange a defensive array here, the four suddenly looked at each other in dismay. Although they knew that they weren't Ning Cheng's opponents, as powerhouses, they naturally wouldn't put their fate in the hands of others. Ning Cheng said that he wanted to set up a defensive array, but who knew if it was a sealing array? Ning Cheng didn't speak and just waited for the four to decide. After a while, the two stood up and cupped their fists towards Ning Cheng. Then, without saying a word, they turned around and disappeared without a trace. Obviously, these two didn't feel at ease with Ning Cheng. The other two hesitated for a long time. Finally, they couldn't bear to part with the primal chaos aura of the universe. They cupped their fists towards Ning Cheng and said, Dao Monarch can rest assured about arranging the array. As long as it doesn't harm our safety, we only ask for cultivation and nothing else. Ning Cheng's expression eased, okay. Many thanks for Dao Friend Mu and Dao Friend Yu's trust. My name is Ning Cheng. Two Dao friends, please rest assured that I won't disturb your cultivation. After that, Ning Qing said to Shi Xiangjuan, Dao friend Xiangjuan, you also find a place to cultivate. Don't worry about me. Okay. Many thanks, Dao friend Ning. Shi Xiangjuan had long wanted to cultivate in this place filled with primal chaos aura. Now that Ning Qing spoke, she didn't hesitate to turn around and choose a place. Yu Guanghao and Mu Bin also felt slightly relieved when they saw Ning Qing arranging a defensive array. They carefully cultivated while keeping an eye on Ning Qing. At the same time, in the endless chaotic void, two figures walked side by side. One of them stood on two stars. It was Dao Monarch Star, who had joined forces with Ning Qing before. Next to Dao Monarch Star was a pale-faced man with a high crown on his head and a knife scar between his eyebrows. Ning Qing also knew him, Wanderer E.G. Brother E.G., that Dao friend Ning isn't any weaker than you and me. Moreover, he also has the five-colored star splitter arrow. If the three of us join forces, even if you haven't recovered your strength, we can still snatch that corner back. Dao Monarch Star was still trying to persuade Wanderer E.G. Wanderer E.G. said in a calm tone, those who walk different paths cannot make plans together. This person is very scheming. If it weren't for his actions of harming others without benefiting himself, Qin Mutian would have already been left behind by us. That Qin Mutian's origin is extraordinary. Leaving him behind is more than 100 times better than leaving behind a chaotic corner. Dao Monarch Star smiled helplessly. He knew what Wanderer E.G. meant. He was still brooding over Ning Qing's arrow. In fact, he understood Ning Qing very well. If he were in Ning Qing's shoes, he might not have shot it either. That arrow would have definitely consumed more than half of Ning Qing's strength. Under such circumstances, facing two unfamiliar powerhouses like him and E.G. would have truly put his life in the hands of others. E.G.'s request was a bit rude. He wasn't familiar with Ning Qing to begin with, yet he still wanted him to put his life in his hands. If Ning Qing had really shot that arrow, he wouldn't have what he had today. Perhaps he would have been swept to a corner of the vast universe. Let's not talk about this person. Plus, my injuries haven't healed yet. Once my injuries heal, I'm afraid that I won't be able to find a kindred spirit in the chaotic realm, where powerhouses abound. Itinerant E.G. spoke with a calm voice. Although his tone was flat, he felt very afraid of Ning Qing in his heart. Ning Qing reminded him of Yemo. They were both people he didn't want to see again. But he knew that no matter how much he didn't want to see them, he had to find Yemo. The Golden Page world was his. No one could touch it. Who was Yemo to dare touch his Golden Page world? He could only blame himself for listening to Xianhuang Gaian's words back then. Dao Monarch Star's surprised voice interrupted E.G.'s words. He stopped and pointed at a faint blue chi in the distance and said, Brother E.G., do you think that blue chi has blue lotus chi? It really is blue lotus chi. Wanderer E.G.'s eyes widened. He looked at the blue chi in disbelief. It would be ridiculous to say that he could casually sense the aura of the green lotus in the chaotic void. Moreover, he knew that the green lotus already had an owner. But now, he really felt and even saw the existence of blue lotus chi. Chapter 1453. There was no need for them to go over. The faint green aura gradually condensed and an 11-petal green lotus appeared in the void. A woman in a yellow dress sat on the green lotus. Apart from her slightly pale face, she was extremely beautiful and unforgettable. The woman clearly saw Dao Lord Star and Itinerant E.G. She stood up and said to them with cupped fists unhurriedly, Xing Shi greets Sacred Lord Golden Page and Dao Lord Star. Dao Lord Star chuckled and cupped his fists. So it's Daoist Xing Shi. Congratulations on your great improvement in strength. Sigh, I feel old when I see you guys. E.G. nodded and said calmly, "May I know how Daoist Xing Shi got severely injured like me?" Although his tone was calm, E.G. was a little annoyed. Xing Shi was obviously their junior, yet she didn't even address them respectfully. Instead, she addressed them as fellow Daoist. That was too arrogant. Xing Shi heaved a sigh of relief when she saw that E.G. and Tao Lord Star didn't talk nonsense about her green lotus or mention the sword boy back then. Given her strength, which had just entered the creation realm, she was still much weaker than Sacred Lord Green Lotus back then. "I was accidentally plotted against. He won't have such a chance next time," Xing Shi said calmly. Xing Shi said calmly. She didn't seem to be willing to talk about this and changed the topic. "I have a very important piece of news. I wonder if Sacred Lord Golden Page and Tao Lord Stellar are interested in hearing it." In Xing Shi's opinion, Ning Cheng had plotted against her. If she had known that Ning Cheng had cut his Tao and condensed his law to reach the third step like her, she definitely wouldn't have been ambushed by Ning Cheng so easily. "Oh, what news do you have, Daoist Xing Shi?" Tao Lord Star asked casually. In his eyes, this sword boy was scheming and definitely not someone easy to get along with. If it wasn't necessary, he didn't want to talk nonsense with this sword boy. Back then, Sacred Lord Green Lotus had died inexplicably and her sword boy had appeared again with the creation Green Lotus and the infinite pain sword. Sacred Lord Green Lotus was completely different from the fellow who used the creation indestructible axe. Sacred Lord Green Lotus would never self-destruct with her creation treasure. With Sacred Lord Green Lotus's methods and abilities, there might be people who could defeat her. However, it wouldn't be easy to kill her. He suspected that the death of Sacred Lord Green Lotus had something to do with this sword boy. Itinerant E.G. lowered his eyebrows as if he didn't care about Xing Shi's words at all. Xing Shi calmly replied, "I learned about the whereabouts of the mysterious yellow bead by chance." Mysterious yellow bead? One of the 5 treasures of creation, the mysterious yellow bead? Tao Lord Star asked in surprise. The reason why his status was not as high as Itinerant E.G. was not because his providence and aptitude were not as good as Itinerant E.G., but because he did not have a fortune treasure. The star's cultivation method that he cultivated could only be ranked 8th among the star's cultivation methods. No matter how hard he tried, he was still inferior to the good fortune 5th Saint Master. The reason why he had been wandering around the Chaos Realm was because he wanted to obtain greater opportunities and strive to reach a higher level. So when he heard the news about the mysterious yellow bead, he couldn't help but be surprised. Although he knew that the mysterious yellow bead already had an owner, even if it did not have an owner now, the mysterious yellow bead would belong to the mysterious yellow Gaian in the future, as such he still had some expectations in his heart. Itinerant E.G. looked calm. He had already guessed that the mysterious yellow bead was with Ning Cheng. Not to mention that he might not be Ning Cheng's opponent, even if he could crush Ning Cheng, he would not have any thoughts about the mysterious yellow bead at this time. He and the mysterious yellow Gaian had known each other for many years, so he naturally knew what kind of person the other party was. If he took away the mysterious yellow bead, even if he went to heaven or hell, the mysterious yellow Gaian would not let him go. The reason why Xing Shi mentioned the mysterious yellow bead was that she estimated that it would be difficult for her to get it again. The first time she met Ning Cheng was still an ant. The second time she met Ning Cheng could already escape from her hands with ease. The third time she met Ning Cheng, he had severely injured her with a single spear strike. Although she had underestimated him and ended up getting plotted against, it also showed how fast Ning Cheng's strength had progressed. Even if she did not fear Ning Cheng the 4th time she met Ning Cheng, it would still be difficult to crush him and take the mysterious yellow bead from him. Since she could not get it, she might as well announce the news and let everyone fight for it. It would also let Ning Cheng know that a fortune treasure was not so easy to obtain. That's right, it's the mysterious yellow bead. Xing Shi looked at E.G. in confusion and asked, "Golden Page Sacred Lord, do you not care about the mysterious yellow bead at all?" Oh, I forgot, I not only know the whereabouts of the mysterious yellow bead but also the golden page world. Xing Shi also felt helpless after saying the news of the golden page world. She couldn't do anything to Ning Cheng nor Yi Mo. If it wasn't for Yi Mo, she wouldn't even be able to vindicate the third step. To Xing Shi's disappointment, itinerant E.G. remained expressionless even after she mentioned the golden page world. His eyes didn't even flicker. This wasn't right. Xing Shi was more confused. With her understanding of the golden page sacred lord, he would immediately ask if the mysterious yellow bead or the golden page world appeared. However, when her gaze fell on the saber mark between itinerant E.G.'s eyebrows, she instantly understood. She had fought with Yi Mo too many times. That chi was clearly brought by Yi Mo's Zisu. You know the whereabouts of the mysterious yellow bead? An anxious voice came along with the surging waves of Tao runes. After just a few breaths, a man appeared in front of the three of them. This man had long hair and was extremely handsome. He had willow leaf-shaped eyes and had the temperament of a superior. Xing Shi greets the profound yellow holy lord. Xing Shi immediately cupped her fists in greeting. Although she was also a divine lord, she was much weaker than mysterious yellow divine lord. When E.G. was heavily injured, she didn't feel much of a threat. Now that Xianhuang Gaian came here, she immediately felt a powerful pressure. It was as though the other party could casually sweep the world's Tao waves and crush her. She had no choice but to run. Brother Gaian, long time no see. Your Tao is more rounded. E.G. finally didn't have that calm expression anymore. If he wasn't heavily injured, he wouldn't be weaker than Xianhuang Gaian. But now, Xianhuang Gaian was clearly much stronger than him. Tao Lord Xing Chen also saluted with his fists. Ren Zhongyi greets Brother Gaian. The long-haired handsome man also saluted with his fists. Tao friend Xing Chen, this should be Tao friend Xing Shi, right? Time really flies. Long time no see. Then, he said to E.G., Brother E.G. isn't any weaker than me. But Brother E.G., why are you so heavily injured? Sigh. E.G. sighed, it's hard to explain. Brother Gaian, ask about your matters. We'll talk later. Okay. Xianhuang Gaian saluted with his fists. Tao friend Xing Shi, you know the whereabouts of the mysterious yellow bead? Xianhuang Gaian was helpless. He wanted someone to refine the mysterious yellow bead for him and then refine it into a creation spirit. Many people guessed this, so it wasn't a secret. According to his thoughts, no matter how talented and heaven-defying the person who obtained the mysterious yellow bead was, he wouldn't be able to destroy the aura he left in the mysterious yellow bead when he wanted to retrieve it. However, he was wrong. After the person who obtained the mysterious yellow bead perfected the mysterious yellow bead, he actually went against the heavens and cut off his aura in the mysterious yellow bead, so that he no longer had any connection with it. If it weren't for the sudden news of the Chaos Inner Realm, he would have left the Chaos Inner Realm to look for the mysterious yellow bead. He didn't expect to hear someone say that they knew the whereabouts of the mysterious yellow bead. How could he let it go? I know the whereabouts of the mysterious yellow bead. Xing Shi nodded and spoke in a calm tone. After saying this, she didn't continue. It was a fact that Xianhuang Gaian was stronger than her. Now that she was on guard, it would be impossible to lock her and force her to ask about the whereabouts of the mysterious yellow bead. Xianhuang Gaian knew what Xing Shi meant. He pondered for a moment and said, since it's all information, let's exchange it. I know the news of the Chaos Inner Realm and there's a chance to go in. Before Xing Shi could say anything, itinerant E.G. asked, Brother Solitary Yan, have you found the entrance to the chaotic inner realm? If it wasn't for the Chaos Inner Realm and Yi Mo, he wouldn't have stayed here. Tao Lord Xing Chen didn't speak but looked at Xianhuang Gaian attentively. Xianhuang Gaian nodded seriously, that's right, I did indeed get news of the Chaos Inner Realm. I came out to find a few helpers. If Brother E.G. and Dao friend Xing don't mind, we can go in together. Of course, I'm willing to do my part, Dao Lord Xing said without hesitation with a hint of excitement in his voice. After searching for so many years, he finally got news of the Chaos Inner Realm. It was impossible for him not to be excited. Xianhuang Divine Lord, I only have one request. I'm willing to do my part to go into the Chaos Inner Realm. Xing Shi immediately said. Xianhuang Gaian wasn't surprised. He came to find helpers anyway. Sure, everyone will help. Xing Shi said after getting Xianhuang Gaian's guarantee, the person with the Xianhuang bead is called Ning Cheng. He's slightly stronger than me and is very cunning. He's in the chaos void right now. Xianhuang Gaian revealed an evil smile. Cunning. Let's see who's more cunning. It's Dao friend Ning. Dao Lord Xing Chen exclaimed. Dao friend Xing Chen, you know that Ning Cheng. Xianhuang Gaian looked at Dao Lord Xing Chen in confusion. Dao Lord Xing Chen smiled bitterly. I actually met Dao friend Ning at the same time as Brother E.G. At that time, I was being hunted and Dao friend Ning helped me. You're with Brother E.G. and there's still someone who can hunt you. Xianhuang Gaian was really moved. Even though Dao Lord Xing Chen wasn't as strong as him, he was definitely a powerful being. Plus, Dao Lord Xing Chen had Golden Page Divine Lord who was no weaker than him. If that was the case, didn't that mean that that person could also hunt him? Being hunted down was simply an inconceivable thing for him, Xianhuang Gaian. Chapter 1454. After thinking about it again and again, Ning Cheng decided to use the method he used to deal with the 7 Ways Duan clan. With the Good Fortune Indestructible Axe's sensing ability, as long as he took out a fragment, the other party might be able to find this place even if it was in a chaotic corner. As soon as Ning Cheng took out the fragment of the indestructible axe, Yu Guanhao, Mu Bin and Shi Xiangjuan all noticed it. The 3 of them only glanced at the fragment of the indestructible axe beside Ning Cheng and immediately recognized it as a fragment of the Good Fortune Indestructible Axe. Dao Lord Ning, is this a fragment of the Good Fortune Indestructible Axe? Yu Guanghao was the first to ask. Ning Cheng nodded and said, yes, this is a fragment of the Good Fortune Indestructible Axe. The 2 Dao friends must know that this place leads to the chaotic inner realm. However, with the strength of the few of us, I'm afraid it's not enough to break through this place and enter the chaotic inner realm. Dao Lord wants to attract the owner of the Good Fortune Indestructible Axe. Yu Guanghao immediately understood Ning Cheng's idea and asked in surprise. Even Shi Xiangjuan, who was cultivating, stopped and looked at Ning Cheng in doubt. Isn't the Good Fortune Indestructible Axe broken? I heard that the owner of the Good Fortune Indestructible Axe fell together with the Indestructible Axe. I don't know if the owner of the Good Fortune Indestructible Axe has fallen or not. However, the Good Fortune Indestructible Axe condensed tens of thousands of years ago. No matter who obtains the Good Fortune Indestructible Axe, the first thing they would do is to perfect the Good Fortune Indestructible Axe. As long as he senses the fragment of the Good Fortune Indestructible Axe I left here, he will definitely come here. Ning Cheng explained. But Mu Bin also didn't have the mood to cultivate. If the owner of the Good Fortune Indestructible Axe came here, then they would become cannon fodder. Although their status was far from the 5 sacred masters, they knew that the strongest among the 5 sacred masters was the owner of the Good Fortune Indestructible Axe. Ning Cheng cupped his fists and said, Dao friends, if the Good Fortune Indestructible Axe can really open this place, then we will be the first group to enter the chaotic inner realm. Of course, if the 2 of you are worried, I will open the defensive array and let the 2 of you leave this place first. Yu Guanghao and Mu Bin looked at each other and cupped their fists towards Ning Cheng. Dao Lord Ning, just do it. If you need our help, we will definitely do our best. I hope that we can follow Dao Lord Ning and enter the chaotic inner realm. Shi Xiangjuan also said, the same. All right. Ning Cheng waved his hand. In that case, let's cultivate here first. As long as the owner of the good fortune indestructible axe can sense the fragment of the indestructible axe entering the chaotic void, I can also sense it. If I can't attract him even after waiting for several years, I will take the initiative to leave this place and search for him. Since the four of them had come to an agreement, they naturally didn't have any objections. Ning Cheng could also kill two birds with one stone. If he could attract the owner of the good fortune indestructible axe without going out, then it would be the best outcome. After all, even if he went out and found the owner of the good fortune indestructible axe, he would still be brought to this place. The chaotic void's laws had shattered into a mess. Even if Ning Cheng managed to get out, he wasn't sure if he could find this place again. The reason why Shi Xiangjuan was able to find this location was not because of her strength, but because of her time. How many years has Shi Xiangjuan been here? Ning Cheng didn't need to ask to know that it was definitely more than 10 million years. After thousands of years, even a blind man would be able to find it. Furthermore, it wasn't an easy task for him to leave the chaotic void. At the edge of the five-element universe, there were no signs of humans or planets in this place. Only the endless dark void and all kinds of void auras. In this endless dark void, a pale golden giant axe was suspended. The giant axe was surrounded by Tao charms. Although the void aura here was mottled and chaotic, pure spiritual aura still seeped out from this mottled and chaotic aura. This aura then seeped into the giant axe. A majestic aura surrounded the Pangu axe. It was a giant axe that made people feel a little frightened at first glance. Unfortunately, there were a few nicks on the axe's blade. These few nicks made the giant axe look somewhat imperfect. No one knew how many years this axe had been lying here. Apart from the continuous flow of spiritual aura into the axe hadn't moved at all. Perhaps without any accidents, this giant axe would continue to remain like this. In the vast void, there was no lack of all sorts of accidents. The giant axe, which hadn't moved at all, suddenly started to tremble violently. It felt as if an invisible string had suddenly pulled it or called it. After the giant axe trembled a few times, it turned into an axe shadow and disappeared into the void with a whistling sound. ZYZ, Big Brother Pan Qian, what's wrong? Similarly, in the endless void, a pretty woman looked at a nearly 2-meter-tall giant beside her and asked in confusion. I felt a call from my bloodline. Maybe we're about to reach the Great Change Realm. The giant froze and listened attentively. These two people were Pan Qian and Shen Mengyan, who had entered the void alone. Over the past tens of thousands of years, Pan Qian had taken Shen Mengyan through many voids and through many planets. Many of these planets in the void were rich in resources. Shen Mengyan had also succeeded in Dao sculpting thousands of years ago because of these resources. Moreover, Pan Qian had the ancient Pan clan's giant bloodline. Hence, his cultivation and insights improved by leaps and bounds. At this moment, he had already reached the perfected primordial chaos realm. As his strength rose, Pan Qian's body also grew to more than 2 meters tall. Shen Mengyan didn't continue to ask. She knew that Pan Qian's origin was much more distinguished than hers. Pan Qian's intuition was correct. If not for Pan Qian, she, Shen Mengyan, would have already turned into nothingness in the void. But at this moment, Pan Qian suddenly trembled. He stared at the void in the distance and suddenly stepped forward. He raised his hand and grabbed towards the void. Shen Mengyan felt a world-destroying aura rushing over. Then, a bloody aura spread out, and the horrifying worldly aura disappeared without a trace. Then, she saw Pan Qian fall down. Big Brother Pan Qian. Shen Mengyan stepped forward anxiously and wanted to support Pan Qian. Pan Qian waved his hand, I'm fine. Shen Mengyan clearly saw a deep wound on Pan Qian's waist. That bloody aura came from this wound on Pan Qian's waist. But Shen Mengyan didn't even see the thing that hurt Pan Qian. Pan Qian swallowed a few Dao fruits, and the wound on his waist quickly solidified. But Shen Mengyan clearly felt that something was wrong with Pan Qian. It felt as if his entire mind had been swept away by that horrifying aura. Big brother Pan Qian, what happened just now? Shen Mengyan felt worried but still asked. Pan Qian looked at the vast void for a long time before speaking. I felt the call of my ancestors' bloodline. I want to pursue it. Junior apprentice Sister Mengyan, I'll send you to the Grand Change Realm first, and then I'll have to leave. Shen Mengyan spoke with extreme seriousness. Big brother Pan Qian, without you, I would have already fallen in the vast void. Even if I went to the Grand Change Realm, I wouldn't have any relatives or friends. If Big brother Pan Qian doesn't think I'm a burden, then don't send me away alone. Shen Mengyan spoke the truth. Without Pan Qian, even if she didn't fall, her cultivation wouldn't have reached this speed. Pan Qian shook his head. Junior apprentice Sister Mengyan is an exceptionally intelligent person. You've contributed a lot along the way. How can you be a burden? It's just that I'm afraid that I'll die this time. My Pan clan will gradually disappear from the universe. If not for Brother Ning Cheng's help, I, Pan Qian, would have already turned into dust in the universe. Whether it's for myself or for the Pan clan, I have to go there. As long as I don't die, I will definitely return to the Grand Change Realm. Big brother Pan Qian, I'll go with you to look for it. Shen Mengyan didn't explain anything this time. Pan Qian understood Shen Mengyan. He knew that it would be useless to send Shen Mengyan away again. In that case, let's go now. Big brother Pan Qian, what was it that hurt you? Shen Mengyan asked after Pan Qian agreed. Pan Qian's expression turned solemn. It was a giant axe that hurt me. I suspect that it was the good fortune indestructible axe that my Pan clan's ancestor once owned. It's just that the giant axe seemed to have gained a new spirituality. When it sensed me, it paused slightly. When I reached out to grab it, it even hurt me. Pan Qian's face showed a hint of sadness, a sense of loss and sorrow. He couldn't even grab the weapon of the Pan clan's ancestor after meeting it. Shen Mengyan asked in doubt, if that's the case, how do you know where it went? That giant axe took away my essence blood. As long as it's still in this side of the universe, I can sense it. Pan Qian spoke with pride. This was the power of an ancient bloodline. Shen Mengyan remained silent for a while before speaking up. Big brother Pan Qian, did that giant axe deliberately take away your essence blood so that you could find it? If you don't want to look for it, it would be equivalent to giving up. But if you are willing to look for it, wouldn't it mean that you haven't given up? Pan Qian froze for a moment before patting his head and saying, that's right, that must be the case. But Pan Qian only spoke a few words before he paused again, with a blank look on his face. Big brother Pan Qian, did you think of something? Shen Mengyan quickly asked. Pan Qian nodded and spoke with a hint of disappointment in his tone. I did sense the position of that giant axe. But in just a moment, it would have taken us months to travel the distance. Moreover, that axe is still moving further and further away. I'm afraid that even if I chase after it, it would be useless. Shen Mengyan showed a slight smile. Big brother Pan Qian, when we first left the mysterious yellow starland, we never thought about wandering through the void for tens of thousands of years. Even if that giant axe escapes, as long as we have a direction, we will have a target. If 10,000 years doesn't work, we can use 100,000 years. If 100,000 years doesn't work, we can use 1,000,000 years. As long as that giant axe doesn't stop, and we don't stop, we can find it. Yes, as long as we don't stop, we can find it. Pan Qian patted his head again. Let's go. I don't believe that we can't catch up to that axe. Chapter 1455. When Ning Qing started cultivating, whether it was Yu Guanghao, Mu Bin or Shi Xiangjuan, all of them felt a little shocked. How was this cultivation? This was simply a devouring space. If it weren't for the endless primal chaos aura in this chaotic corner, with Ning Cheng's current cultivation state, they wouldn't even be able to drink the soup. They condensed the primal chaos aura here to comprehend the grand Tao, which formed a faint mist of Tao charm around them. However, when Ning Cheng started cultivating, the primal chaos aura around him condensed into a huge whirlpool of Tao charm. Then, the whirlpool condensed into a cocoon of Tao charm. After the three of them marveled, they tried their best to comprehend the surrounding Tao charm and cultivate. Previously, they thought that they all had top-notch qualifications in the universe. But now, compared to Ning Cheng, they realized that their qualifications were too far apart. If they didn't work hard, they would no longer have a place to live in the future. Once they started cultivating, they would no longer feel the passage of time. 10 years passed in the blink of an eye. At this moment, in the chaotic corner where Ning Cheng was, apart from the four people quietly cultivating, there was only a fragment of the indestructible axe suspended in the air. The Tao charm around Ning Cheng's body condensed even more. Although he still had a long way to go before advancing, his domain had also started to solidify. Not too far from the chaotic corner where Ning Cheng was cultivating, there was also another spacious area. However, the 5 people in this space weren't cultivating. Instead, they were all madly attacking the same void position in this space. Several huge attack arrays coordinated with the attacks of these 5 people. With each attack, the space around them trembled, as if it was about to collapse. But after the tremors passed, the direction of the attacks quickly returned to normal. Fellow Taoists, we can't keep attacking like this. The one who spoke was a dark-skinned, sturdy young man. After the young man finished speaking, a man standing on a celestial body agreed, "What Brother Guy said makes sense. After more than a decade, our progress is too small. If we want to completely blast open this chaotic corner, I'm afraid we won't be able to do it in a short time." Brother Guy and fellow Taoist Celestials' concerns are naturally reasonable. But after more than a decade of hard work, we have already vaguely seen traces of this corner. As long as there are traces, we can eventually open this place if we continue. If 1,000 years doesn't work, then we will use 10,000 years. I believe that it won't take us tens of millions of years to open up this corner. The one who spoke was a man wearing a tall hat. The 5 of them were Xianhuang Gaian, Itinerant E.G., Tao Lord Stellar, Xing Shi, and Tao Lord Strength, who Xianhuang Gaian had invited later, Gai Yi. Because of the strong chaotic aura in the chaotic corner, only a faint mark was left on the spot between Itinerant E.G.'s eyebrows. This chaotic corner was also discovered by Xianhuang Gaian. It turned out that the few people here were killed by Xianhuang Gaian. Although this place was not as easy to enter as Xianhuang Gaian had said, it was not the easiest place to enter the chaotic inner world. But compared to the chaotic corner where Ning Cheng was located, this place was indeed a bit looser. They knew that Itinerant E.G.'s words made sense, but no one knew how many years it would take to open up this corner. Fortunately, there was one thing that everyone was sure of. Opening up this chaotic corner wouldn't take tens of millions of years. Xing Shi didn't say anything. She could also see that there was some loosening up here. It would be an exaggeration to say that this loosening was caused by the attacks of the 4 of them. The loosening here should have been caused by people attacking this place for countless years. They just came here to take advantage of the latecomers. In fact, for her, she preferred to cultivate here. If she cultivated here for 1,000,000 years, her strength would experience a qualitative leap. In fact, at our level, it's not impossible to go further through cultivation as long as we have endless years of accumulation. Have you thought about it? The gate of fortune is about to open. If we want to improve slowly through cultivation, I'm afraid that even if the gate of fortune opens again, it has nothing to do with us. The best way is to enter the chaotic inner world. Xianhuang Gaian apparently sensed some of Xing Shi and Gai Ye's thoughts and took the initiative to speak up. Gai Yi was a strength Tao Lord, and his strength had always stood among the top powerhouses. Similarly, after working together with everyone over the years, he also saw that Xingshi wasn't a simple person. The few of them didn't speak. They all understood Xianhuang Gaian's meaning. Even Xingshi put aside the idea of cultivating slowly. If the gate of fortune wasn't about to open, it would have been a good idea. But the gate of fortune was about to open. If she still thought about it this way, she could only drink the water that others used to wash their feet with. Why did everyone work so hard to improve here? Wasn't it to occupy a spot when the gate of fortune opened? If the gate of fortune opened and she still cultivated here, then no matter how much her power improved, she would still be an ant in front of the powerhouses who entered the gate of fortune. After Xingshi understood this, she sighed inwardly. Before she found the Chaos Realm, she always thought she was the most powerful person in this universe. But after forming enmity with Yi Mo and Ning Cheng and seeing the ancient masters of the Chaos Realm, she had long thrown away this thought. She only had one thought now, and that was to occupy a spot after the gate of fortune opened. Compared to Xingshi's thoughts, E.G. and Xianhuang Gaian's thoughts were more direct. If they didn't open the chaos inner world, they would probably have to experience the tragedy of the first time the gate of fortune opened. Not to mention Ning Cheng and Yi Mo, those two rising stars, even Qin Mutian was a huge rock above their heads. Once the gate of fortune opened, they didn't believe that Qin Mutian wouldn't go there. Sigh, it's a pity we don't know the whereabouts of the fortune indestructible axe. Xianhuang Gaian sighed. He couldn't forget about the fortune indestructible axe. But this time, before he could finish his sentence, his whole body suddenly froze. He was not the only one. Even itinerant E.G., Dao Lord Star, and Dao Lord Strength looked at each other in disbelief. Xingshi also looked out of the chaotic corner in confusion. They felt the powerful axe-intent qi of the fortune indestructible axe. This qi was all too familiar to them. When the gate of fortune opened for the first time, the fortune indestructible axe was invincible and killed countless powerhouses. They were also almost killed by the fortune indestructible axe. At this moment, the fortune indestructible axe appeared in the chaos realm with a boundless aura. How could they not sense it? Fortune indestructible axe. Puyi was the first to speak. His eyes were filled with extreme excitement. No one wanted the fortune indestructible axe more than him. If he also had the fortune indestructible axe, he would definitely be able to crush all the powerhouses and become number one. It really is the good fortune indestructible axe. Did this axe come to the chaotic void? Itinerant E.G. took in a deep breath, although he did not really like the good fortune indestructible axe. Although he didn't really like the fortune indestructible axe, if he could get it, Yi Mo would be a piece of cake in his eyes. Let's go take a look. Xianhuang Gaian said before turning into a shadow and disappearing. If he had the fortune indestructible axe, he wouldn't need to cooperate with others at all. Even if the fortune indestructible axe recognized him as its master, he could still seek cooperation. Almost at the same time Xianhuang Gaian left, the other four also turned into a ray of light and disappeared. The chaos outer world, which had been trying to attack, fell silent again. The Dao cocoon around Ning Cheng suddenly exploded, and he stood up. At the same time, he raised his hand and grabbed the indestructible axe fragment that was trembling and about to break free from the void restriction. At this moment, even Yu Guanghao, Mu Bin, and the others, who were cultivating, knew that the fortune indestructible axe had really come. You guys stay here and cultivate. I'll go look for the indestructible axe. After Ning Cheng said that, his figure flashed and disappeared from the chaos outer world. The fortune indestructible axe fragment kept trembling in Ning Cheng's hand, trying to break free from Ning Cheng's grasp. However, Ning Cheng's palm was like a world of its own. No matter how much the fragment struggled, it couldn't break free. At the same time Ning Cheng left, a grey-robed man sitting in the void suddenly opened his eyes and stood up. The black and white Dao rune law vortexes under him also disappeared. This person was Qin Mutian, who had fought against Ning Cheng, e.g., and Dao Lord Xingqian. He had only recently learned about the Chaos Outer World. Unfortunately, he was unlucky. The guy he caught only knew that there was a Chaos Outer World, but he didn't know the location of any Chaos Outer World. At this moment, he was searching through the void with his law of light and darkness. He believed that if he had some time, he could definitely find a Chaos Outer World in this Chaos Outer World. At this moment, he felt the powerful axe intent aura of the good fortune indestructible axe entering the Chaos Outer World. This is the aura of a good fortune treasure created by the primal chaos. Moreover, it also carries a powerful crushing killing intent. It's majestic and boundless. Obviously, it's a top-grade offensive treasure. Qin Mutian muttered to himself. Then, his eyes flashed with a hint of uncontrollable excitement. His black and white symbols were also a Xiantian treasure, but there was still an essential difference between a Xiantian treasure and a good fortune treasure. What's more, as he grew stronger, the shortcomings of the black and white symbols would also grow. Last time, when he fought against those three people, if he had a good fortune treasure with a majestic aura, even if Ning Cheng locked onto him with the 5-colored star splitter arrow, he could have easily escaped. He wouldn't have been spared because of the situation at that time. With Qin Mutian's experience, after escaping, he immediately understood why Ning Cheng didn't shoot that arrow. But this was secondary. The most important thing was that he had never seen a Chaos Outer World, but he heard that the Chaos Outer World couldn't be opened. If he had such a good fortune offensive treasure, why would he worry about not opening the Chaos Outer World? If he was the first to open the Chaos Outer World and enter the Chaos Inner World, who would dare to disrespect him, Qin Mutian, within the 5 Elements universe? After all, one day, this 5 Elements universe would become his backyard, just like the light and darkness universe. Thinking of this, how could Qin Mutian continue to stay here and investigate the location of the good fortune treasure? His entire person disappeared and rushed towards the direction of the good fortune treasure's aura. Chapter 1456. Ning Cheng didn't walk for long and stopped. Even in the chaotic void, he could feel the Tao wave qi fluctuations in this space. And these fluctuations weren't just from one place. Ning Cheng didn't need to think much to know that the fortune indestructible axe had come to the chaotic void. Many powerful beings sensed the arrival of the fortune indestructible axe. Ning Cheng felt helpless. He really wanted the fortune indestructible axe to come in quietly and not startle people. Unfortunately, the good fortune indestructible axe had clearly come in accordance with its own wishes and methods. It did this in fear that people wouldn't know it was coming. He didn't know if the fortune indestructible axe was controlled by someone, but from the way it came over, it shouldn't have such an arrogant master. This wasn't an ordinary corner of the 5-element universe's void, and there were too many powerful beings in the chaotic void. Regardless of whether the fortune indestructible axe was controlled by someone or not, since the fortune indestructible axe was coming for him, why should he go over? There would be too many powerful beings coming over, and it would probably be another fierce battle. But Ning Cheng soon threw this worry aside. He was going to go through the gate of fortune anyway, and these powerful beings would probably fight for the gate of fortune in the future. In that case, it would be good to meet earlier and see each other's means. Thinking about this, Ning Cheng threw the fortune indestructible axe fragment into his storage ring and took out formation flags to set up a void trap kill formation. He had the right to wait for others, so why should he fight with them? With the power of the fortune indestructible axe, there probably weren't many who could forcibly stop it. The only worry was Qin Mutian. If Qin Mutian attacked, it would be useless for him to go. Ning Cheng threw out one array flag after another and hid it within the chaotic void. "Brother Ning, good means indeed." An abrupt voice sounded, and then Ning Cheng saw Yi Mo walking in the air with a purple sword on his back. "So it's Brother Yi, congratulations on reaching the 3rd step." Ning Cheng was certain that Yi Mo came here for the fortune indestructible axe. Seeing the Tao wave qi around Yi Mo, he knew that Yi was right. Yi Mo was the same as him. Yi Mo waved his hand. We don't need to congratulate each other. Isn't Brother Ning also Tao's severing third step? Ning Cheng could tell from Ning Cheng's Tao wave qi that Ning Cheng also severed Tao creation realm. The two of them had teamed up before, and they both knew each other's temperament. Moreover, both of them came from Earth, so Ning Cheng no longer beat around the bush. Brother Yi suddenly appeared, presumably because of the good fortune indestructible axe, right? Yi Mo smiled. That's right, I was passing by and saw Brother Ning setting up the formation. I knew the axe was attracted by Brother Ning. Since that's the case, why don't we join forces again? Ning Cheng felt helpless. He was the one who attracted the good fortune indestructible axe. Most likely, the entire chaotic void already knew that the good fortune indestructible axe had arrived. However, he still agreed to join up with Yi Mo. In a place like the chaotic void, with Ning Cheng's strength alone, it might not be enough for him to find a way out. Not to mention others, just Qin Mutian alone was enough to make him suffer. Yi Mo thought Ning Cheng was still hesitating and said, there are countless powerful beings here. No matter who we are, even if we sever Tao and form our own law creation realm, we can't dominate here with our current power. We're all strong together, we're both weak separately. Before, I met the owner of the Golden Page world, e.g., here. I had a battle with him. At that time, I severely injured him, and at the same time, I was injured myself. E.g.'s power is definitely not the strongest on this side of the void. As for fighting for the Gate of Fortune, that's a matter for later. When the time comes, everyone will rely on their own means. Why think too much now? Ning Cheng also knew about this matter, so he nodded and spoke, Brother Yi, I agree to join forces. Now, I'm going to set up a void trap kill formation to at least leave a way out. Ning Cheng knew that if the good fortune indestructible axe came, all the powerful beings here would charge up and fight for it. It might be a preview of the fight for the Gate of Fortune. Teaming up with Yi Mo was much better than teaming up with E.G. Yi Mo laughed, I've studied formation Tao for a while. How about we join forces and set up this trap kill formation? As soon as Yi Mo attacked, Ning Cheng knew that Yi Mo's formation Tao was on par with his. Despite their research directions being different, they could complement each other. If one wasn't strong enough, it would be hard to find a trace of the void trap kill formation they set up. Good fortune indestructible axe. Qin Mutian's spirit sense scanned the huge axe and exclaimed in shock. Then, his eyes were filled with extreme surprise and joy. He had heard of the Fortune 5 treasures and the good fortune indestructible axe was the #1 offensive magic artifact in the entire 5-element universe. More importantly, the good fortune indestructible axe didn't seem to recognize an owner. It was a huge axe that crossed the void. The arrogance it had was as though it was going to crush the entire universe under the axe. It was just an offensive magic artifact and yet it dared to be so cocky. Qin Mutian crossed the endless void in one step and grabbed at the good fortune indestructible axe. At the same time, Qin Mutian's hand grabbed at the good fortune indestructible axe. The axe's blade suddenly straightened up and the axe will that swept the heaven and earth hacked out. At this moment, the entire chaotic void seemed to be about to be split open by this axe. Qin Mutian was under the axe's blade. The axe's blade swept up tens of kilometers of axe will and crushed down. It didn't take Qin Mutian seriously at all. Qin Mutian let out a muffled groan. His palms suddenly flipped and turned into a huge fist the size of a dustpan. The black and white Tao wave laws of the huge fist exploded and turned into waves of Tao wave that smashed out. Crack crack. Rumble. The axe's blade's lethal force didn't lock onto Qin Mutian and was smashed apart by this punch. Qin Mutian's punch tore apart the axe's lethal force and smashed onto the huge qi around the axe, exploding law fragments all over the sky. The giant axe trembled slightly, and that crushing momentum stopped for a moment. The killing intent on the giant axe was also dispersed by this punch. In the next moment, Qin Mutian's hand had already grabbed the axe's handle. Seemingly knowing that something was amiss, the axe intent around the huge axe became even more violent and majestic. However, it couldn't break free from Qin Mutian's palm. That tearing killing intent rushed into Qin Mutian's realm domain, causing Qin Mutian's realm domain to tremble violently. It seemed like it was about to split apart in the next moment. However, that was just an illusion. Qin Mutian's realm domain only trembled and didn't show any signs of splitting apart. Who is that person? Why is he so powerful? Xianhuang Gaian, who rushed over from afar, muttered to herself in shock. He's Qin Mutian. Itinerant E.G., who followed behind, explained in a solemn tone, let's hurry up and make a move. We absolutely can't let this good fortune indestructible axe be controlled by this person. Otherwise, there won't be any room for us to speak here. Just as Itinerant E.G. finished his sentence, he felt a heavy cosmic-like force pressing down on him. A huge bell that blotted out the sky fell from the void and smashed towards Qin Mutian. The moment Qin Mutian grabbed the good fortune indestructible axe, his heart was filled with ecstasy. Even though he had seen the creation of the light and dark cosmos before, he couldn't stop this surprise. Just as his Tao runes were about to lock onto the indestructible axe, the huge bell suddenly descended. A heavy, grand, and soul-palpitating power pressed down from the endless void. Even if Qin Mutian didn't want to let go of the good fortune indestructible axe, he couldn't. His realm domain instantly shattered, and the nomological Tao runes that swept out also entered a weak state because he was controlling the good fortune indestructible axe. Qin Mutian took out the black and white symbols. At this moment, how could he still be in the mood to care about the good fortune indestructible axe? If he didn't hurry up and block this huge bell, his body would collapse in the next moment. No matter how conceited Qin Mutian was, he couldn't block this terrifying heaven and earth bell. Clang! Clang! The earth-shattering Tao runes exploded, and the surrounding void started to collapse. Qin Mutian forcefully endured the chaos of the Tao runes and laws. He grabbed the black and white symbols and retreated hundreds of miles away. It was only at this moment that he saw who it was. It was a tall and muscular man with long hair. He had a bronze face and extremely bright eyes. At this moment, he was holding on to a huge bronze bell and staring at Qin Mutian. There seemed to be some surprise in his eyes. Chapter 1457. Qin Mutian sucked in a breath of cold air. This person was definitely not weaker than him. When he had first arrived in this void, he had always thought that he would be the strongest person here. Now, it seemed that he wasn't. What shocked him even more was the huge bell in this person's hand. This huge bell was definitely not inferior to the good fortune indestructible axe. During this time, the good fortune indestructible axe had already turned into an axe blade and disappeared. Who are you, Taoist? Qin Mutian took a deep breath and asked in a deep voice instead of chasing after the good fortune indestructible axe. With this person around, even if he chased after the good fortune indestructible axe, he wouldn't be able to do anything. Moreover, he saw several experts coming over. Among these experts were the two people who had fought with him previously. Fortunately, the guy with the five-colored star splitter wasn't here. Tao Lord Chaos, you're really here. Itinerant E.G. chuckled and walked over. After Itinerant E.G., Xianhuang, Gaian, and the others also came over to greet him with cupped fists. No matter how much he wanted the good fortune indestructible axe, he wouldn't be able to snatch it with so many experts here. Moreover, although Tao Lord Chaos wasn't one of the five sacred lords, his strength wasn't any weaker than any of them. Looking at Tao Lord Chaos's current might, his strength seemed to have risen again. The man called Tao Lord Chaos also cupped his fists in return and said doubtfully, Taoist E.G. doesn't seem to be having a smooth time. Itinerant E.G. sighed and didn't say much. In terms of strength, he might not be stronger than Tao Lord Chaos at his peak, but he definitely wasn't weaker. Now, he was clearly inferior to Tao Lord Chaos. Apart from the damage to his Tao heart and Tao runes, the biggest reason was that his golden page world had been taken away. Tao Lord Chaos's strength didn't decline after all these years in the Chaos realm. Instead, it seemed to have improved. If he didn't take back his golden page world as soon as possible, he would probably be removed from this universe. You're Tao Lord Chaos. Qin Mutian frowned slightly. How could someone called Tao Lord Chaos be weak? As for Tao Lord Chaos ignoring him, he didn't take it to heart. Tao Lord Chaos sized Qin Mutian up for a long time before saying, "That's right, I'm Tao Lord Chaos. You're not from the five-element universe, right?" Ha! Qin Mutian laughed. Taoists' cultivation is profound, but your knowledge is shallow. When chaos was the vast world, how could there be inside the Tao? Tao, I, is, I, of. My Tao is not divided into universes, only the great Tao. Tao Lord Chaos was slightly shocked. I'll be wherever the Tao is. How arrogant is that? Everyone in. Of, they were shocked. I was Tao. Even though everyone else had looks of disdain on their faces, they knew very well that Qin Mutian had come here to fight for the Gate of Fortune after hearing his words. His name is Qin Mutian. I heard that he came from another universe. Itinerant E.G. didn't care about Qin Mutian's gibberish and directly spoke. Qin Mutian smiled faintly. He didn't mind and said, "Tao friend Chaos's Tao is the strongest I've ever seen. That huge bell should be the Chaos Bell, right? It lives up to its reputation. It's much stronger than my black and white symbols. In that case, let's use our own means. The creation indestructible axe will belong to whoever gets it. How about that? If we fight here and the creation indestructible axe is taken away by someone else, wouldn't that be an injustice?" Tao Lord Chaos wasn't the only one who understood Qin Mutian's meaning. Everyone else did too. The reason why Tao Lord Chaos could stop Qin Mutian wasn't because Tao Lord Chaos's Tao Dharma had suppressed Qin Mutian, but because Tao Lord Chaos's Dharma treasure, the Chaos Bell, was stronger than his Dharma treasure, the black and white symbols. Ha! Tao Lord Chaos laughed and said proudly, "In that case, let's use our own means." With that said, he took a step forward and disappeared in the direction of the creation indestructible axe. Once Tao Lord Chaos left, everyone else followed the creation indestructible axe. Not long after Ning Cheng and Yi Mo set up the trap and kill formation, the axe intent that could split the entire world hacked towards Ning Cheng. Without hesitation, Ning Cheng shot out the creation god spear. Rumble. The creation god spear and indestructible axe clashed together. Tao wave laws exploded and the indestructible axe's killing intent was broken by Ning Cheng's spear. The indestructible axe spun a few times on the spot and suddenly stopped. I was wondering why I couldn't perfect it. So you hit a few fragments of the indestructible axe. Quickly hand over the fragments or you won't be able to bear the consequences. The indestructible axe said in a crisp and childish voice. Ning Cheng laughed, "An axe, although it has developed spiritual wisdom, but it can't even transform into a human form, yet it dares to threaten me. Let me see how I won't be able to bear the consequences." As he spoke, Ning Cheng's creation god spear swept up layers of Tao waves and was about to attack the creation indestructible axe. Yi Mo didn't attack. He was in an alliance with Ning Cheng now. Moreover, he also saw more than 10 people flying in his direction. "Tao friend stop." A deep voice sounded. Then, a bulky man with a purple bronze bell landed outside the trap kill formation. Seeing this person, Ning Cheng immediately took out the ear-shaped fragment. Then, he knew his wish was for nothing. The image in the ear-shaped fragment was this purple bronze bell. Now that this bell clearly had an owner, how could it be Ning Cheng's turn? East Emperor Bell. Ning Cheng had indeed stopped, but it was not because of this robust man with disheveled hair, but because of the purple copper bell. The man heard Ning Cheng's words and exclaimed, "You know the East Emperor Bell? Why don't you call it the Chaos Bell?" Yi Mo laughed, "Isn't the East Emperor Bell the Chaos Bell? Are you East Emperor Tai?" Despite knowing that Yi Mo was joking, Ning Cheng still paid close attention to this man. If this person was really East Emperor Tai, then their jaws would drop. There was shock in the man's eyes and he asked in confusion, "You met that old Taoist Zishao? Did he tell you who I am? You're really East Emperor Tai?" Ning Cheng asked in shock. The two glanced at each other. What was going on? Wasn't East Emperor Tai an ancient Chinese legend? How did he appear here? Yi Mo's face went serious. He knew what Ning Cheng was thinking. "Ning Cheng, you came from Earth, do you know about small worlds?" Ning Cheng shook his head, "I don't know about these." Yi Mo didn't ask anymore. After he left, some things were probably sealed by the world. "I'm called Chaos Tao Lord. As for my magic artifact, it's indeed called East Emperor Bell." The Chaos Tao Lord didn't explain if he was East Emperor Tai. Then, he stepped into the trap-kill formation as though he didn't realize it was a trap-kill formation. Ning Cheng and Yi Mo knew that Chaos Tao Lord definitely saw through their trap-kill formation. Since he dared to come in, it meant that he didn't take their trap-kill formation seriously at all. Just as Tao Lord Chaos entered the confinement-killing array, Qin Mutian took a step forward. His gaze first landed on Ning Cheng before landing on the surrounding void. He chuckled and said, "You even set up a confinement-killing array in advance." Then, he stepped into the trap-kill formation too. That powerful force made Ning Cheng and Yi Mo look too small. Behind Qin Mutian, Itinerant E.G. and the others also came over and stepped into the trap-killing formation without any hesitation. Both Ning Cheng and Yi Mo knew that E.G. could also tell that this was a trap-and-kill formation. They were not surprised by this. It would be strange if they could not see it. In just tens of seconds, more than 20 people came into the trap-kill formation. E.G. scanned Yi Mo with a calm face. No one could tell what he was thinking. "You're Ning Cheng." Xian Huang Gaian's eyes fell on Ning Cheng. It was as though at this moment, the fortune indestructible axe was secondary and Ning Cheng was the most important. "Xian Huang Gaian. You're the one who wants to refine me into a fortune spirit." Ning Cheng also studied the original Good Fortune Divine Lord. He was indeed handsome and elegant. Only those willow leaf-shaped eyes made Ning Cheng uncomfortable. "That's just hearsay. The thing I left behind in the past is now in your hands. If you're willing to hand it over, I can pay any price you want." Chapter 1458. Chaos Tao Lord glanced at Ning Cheng and Yi Mo before glancing at Qin Mutian. Just when he wanted to speak, Qin Mutian stopped him and said, "Chaos Tao Lord, I'm willing to join forces with you. After we open up the Chaos Inner Realm, I just need to have the right to go in." E.G. said, "Chaos Tao Lord, I, E.G., will also join forces with you." After saying that, Itinerant E.G. felt upset. Qin Mutian had chosen to join forces with Tao Lord Chaos because he wasn't from the five-element universe. His status was no lower than Chaos Tao Lord and he was one of the five sacred lords. But now that his power was damaged, he could only follow Chaos Tao Lord. What comforted Itinerant E.G. was that after he said that, Xianhuang Gaian did not hesitate to express her intention to form an alliance with Tao Lord Chaos. Then, Xing Shi, Strength Tao Lord and the others also chose to follow Chaos Tao Lord. In the blink of an eye, Ning Cheng and Yi Mo were surrounded by everyone. Ning Cheng looked at Star Tao Lord, "Tao Friend Star, you're also going to join forces with them against us?" Star Tao Rune sighed, "Brother Ning, I'll leave. I won't help either side. Then, Star Dao Lord took a few steps back and instantly left Ning Cheng's trap kill formation. He really admired Ning Cheng and really didn't want to be enemies with Ning Cheng. At this moment, there were 7 or 8 people outside the trap kill formation, but they didn't choose to join forces with Chaos Dao Lord. Of course, they wouldn't choose to help Ning Cheng and Yi Mo fight Chaos Dao Lord and them. Yi Mo sighed, I remember when we were at Heaven Beyond Heaven. It was exactly the same situation as here. Chaos Dao Lord didn't attack immediately and said to Ning Cheng and Yi Mo, since you two can appear here, you must be the best of the younger generation. Dao isn't easy and I won't make it hard for you too. You can leave. Ning Cheng laughed, it seems we're going to start a massacre again. Then, Ning Cheng looked at the fortune indestructible axe and said, you're a fortune treasure from the beginning of chaos. Do you want to follow us to fight these people or do you want them to fight us? I need to make it clear to you first. You have to listen to me if you want to perfect it. Otherwise, your original state will remain the same in the future. Even if the good fortune indestructible axe was still immature, it could still understand the meaning behind Ning Cheng's words. That was to say that if it did not help Ning Cheng, then the good fortune indestructible axe would still remain as a fragment in the future. Ha ha ha. Chaos Dao Lord suddenly laughed out loud. I'm afraid the two of you haven't seen how I do things. If the two of you think that you can do whatever you want with a trap-killing array that was hastily set up, I'm afraid you're too naive. Ning Cheng and Yi Mo glanced at each other again. This guy was really called Tai Yi. No one echoed Dao Lord Chaos's words, nor did anyone explain. Itinerant E.G. and Xianhuang Gaian couldn't wait for Dao Lord Chaos to make the first move. Chaos Dao Lord didn't know Yi Mo and Ning Cheng's power but they did. If they weren't here, Chaos Dao Lord would be at a disadvantage fighting Yi Mo and Ning Cheng alone. Qin Mutian also did not speak. He had seen Ning Cheng's fierceness, and the young man with the purple long blade next to Ning Cheng also did not seem to be someone easy to deal with. Chaos Dao Lord's power should be on par with him. If Chaos Dao Lord attacked first, it would be the best. Ning Cheng and Yi Mo didn't speak. If Chaos Dao Lord really attacked first, then Chaos Dao Lord wouldn't be able to make such a name for himself. This had nothing to do with Ning Cheng and Yi Mo's power. Chaos Dao Lord was clearly the leader of everyone. Who would fight first? Brother E.G. After Dao Lord Chaos laughed heartily, he did not attack immediately. Instead, he called out to itinerant E.G. E.G. knew things weren't good hearing Chaos Dao Lord call him. Before he could think of a countermeasure, Chaos Dao Lord continued, if I'm not wrong, that sword mark on your forehead was left by this young man, right? Chaos Dao Lord pointed at Yi Mo, he left a sword mark on your forehead. He probably robbed something from you. I'll help you, you go kill this person and take back what belongs to you. E.G.'s heart sunk. How could he not understand Chaos Dao Lord's words? The reason his power dropped drastically was because he didn't have his golden page world. Clearly, this cunning Chaos Dao Lord had guessed that his golden page world was on Yi Mo from the sword mark on his forehead. Itinerant E.G. braced himself and took a step forward. Since he was on the same side as Dao Lord Primal Chaos, and the reason why Dao Lord Primal Chaos wanted him to attack was fair and square, he had no excuse to refuse. Right at this moment, another figure flew over. E.G. saw this figure and rejoiced. He grabbed a leaf and looked at Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng, when I attack, I hope you don't ambush me from the side. I know you have 5-color shatter star. You have the 5-colored star splitter. An extremely anxious voice rang out. Following that, the figure had already charged in front of E.G., blocking E.G.'s path behind him. Ning Cheng looked at the person in front of him. He was tall and had condensed Dao waves. He was like a sharp arrow that could pierce through his opponent at any moment. What caught Ning Cheng's attention the most was that this person only had one eye. This eye stood vertically in the middle of his forehead. Who are you? Ning Cheng did not answer the other party's question, but instead asked a question. I'm Five Color, I'm asking you a question. The one-eyed man's tone turned serious. This person is very strong. Yemo sound transmission to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng nodded. He also knew this person was strong. From the Tao waves around him, this guy was stronger than Star Tao Lord. Five Color Tao Lord, long time no see. Chaos Tao Lord smiled and saluted with his fists. Although he looked down on Ning Cheng and Yemo, he knew that Ning Cheng and Yemo were very strong. It was because he knew they were very strong that he wanted to test Yemo's means. Now, the more enemies Ning Cheng and Yemo had, the better. The man quickly bowed to Chaos Tao Lord, Brother Tai Yi, I was in a hurry to take care of Five Color Shatter Star. No rush, no rush. Tao friend, solve your problem first and then we can catch up. If my Chaos Bell is stolen, I will be the same as you. Chaos Tao Lord smiled and waved his hand. He really wasn't in a hurry. After saying this, he even added fuel to the fire. Five Color Tao Lord opened his hand and a five-colored light appeared in his palm, your Ning Cheng. Let me ask you again, is Five Color Shatter Star on you? Five Color God Light. Ning Cheng took in a cold breath looking at the five-colored light in Five Color Tao Lord's hand. He glanced at Yemo and felt a sliver of concern. If it was just Five Color Tao Lord, they wouldn't be afraid even if he had Five Color God Light. But now, Five Color Tao Lord was just one of the many attacking them. Ning Cheng took a step and the Creation God Spear appeared in his hand. Yemo's face was serious too. He opened his hand and Zisu appeared in front of him. He didn't want to fight Five Color Tao Lord with Ning Cheng, but if they fought, it wouldn't just be Five Color Tao Lord. It would definitely be a chaotic battle. Five Color God Light and Five Color Shatter Star are Five Color Tao Lord's special treasures. You dare to rob Tao friend Five Color's magic artifact? E.G. sneered. Was it really Five Color God Light? Fortunately, with the East Emperor Bell in front of him, the Five Color Divine Light did not seem to be something he could not accept. According to Chinese legends, Five Color God Light was Kong Xian's magic artifact. This Five Color Tao Lord clearly wasn't Kong Xian. That's right, it's Five Color God Light. If you're willing to take out Five Color Shatter Star, I will leave immediately. I won't be enemies with you, Five Color Tao Lord said without hesitation. Where did your Five Color God Light and Five Color Shatter Star come from? Ning Cheng didn't say if he took out Five Color Shatter Star. Five Color Tao Lord said calmly, you don't need to worry about that. You just need to know that these two things are my treasures. Ning Cheng chuckled, what if I'm the original owner of Five Color Shatter Star and want to take it back? Five Color Tao Lord frowned, that's impossible. His soul was destroyed. How can he reincarnate? Ha! Ning Cheng laughed, then let me see what you can do. From Five Color Tao Lord's mouth, Ning Cheng knew that Five Color Shatter Star was snatched by Five Color Tao Lord. There was nothing to say to such a person. Five Color Tao Lord didn't waste any more words. Five-colored light rolled up and swept towards Ning Cheng. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.